I was so mad, actually. Like, I actually cannot believe that there is no system for perks. Like, I'm sitting here in a grand finals, and they're telling me, "Hey, bro, sorry, you need to like leave the game, and you're the only ult." Like,
Wait, why did you have to
in
leave
my
the
ear
game?
telling me that I have the only ult, and I need to alt F4, like just close my game and rejoin.
Wait, why?
Because I picked the wrong perk.
Oh, I thought you just DC'd again.
No, the admins are in my ear like, "Hey, bro, sorry, you picked the triangle instead of the square Kiriko perk, so you like just get out of here, like just." Yeah, because Ziad was because of Haku, and then I think Landon was because of Ziad. Then someone signed Checkmate. I don't know who exactly. And then I came because of Checkmate because he asked for me.
So the system is one person gets someone else in, then that next person has to pick the next player, and somehow it just works out perfectly.
I mean, I got it right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I got it wrong because like I fought super hard for Tread, and I think Tread played well, but Ziad like was just a good shout from Haku.
Oh wow, well done,
you
man.
broke the streak.
Landon,
I broke the streak. I mean, Tread played good. He played in China like he took a map off Falcons.
We need to talk about the being nice segment of the week, but there's I feel like there's two sections. There's one which is like the unnecessary and very offensive targeted harassment of Uncoachable, which is just not on, guys. You need to be nicer to us. And then there's also like I guess I don't know if it's like the who was it? It was Kuffer or someone like Zera and Kuffer, that tweet, and maybe that sentiment. I feel like we need to talk about both.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 39 of Uncoachable. The letter of the episode for this week is L. L for the many L's that Chris has received throughout the year. L for the big L that Max was served in playoffs. L for lawyer that we'll get into later in the episode. And of course, the most important L of them all, L for Landon, who is our guest this week. Welcome, Landon.
Yeah.
Where are you now? Are you back in US?
Yeah, like cheeky, like 35-hour travel day into like 6 hours layovers, you know. But I'm back in the States now.
And what's the plan from here then? When are you guys boot camping? When are you guys flying out? What's next?
Yeah, going on like a nice vacation for a couple of days, and then like a 2-week boot camp in Korea, and then on our way to EWC. Beautiful.
Anyone else got any plans for the Esports World Cup or?
Missed my flight, so it seems.
not got that in the mail
No
yet.
flights left, no tickets left, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just going to furiously jerk off for like 3 weeks straight and, see where it leads because I think I also missed my ticket somehow.
Isn't the 3 weeks of jerking off how you got here in the first place?
No, actually, I was not jerking off for the 3 weeks, but now I might as well have jerked off for 6 from the looks of it.
It might have been the mistake. You should have stuck with what was working in stage 1,
So we got a bunch of stuff to catch up on. I figure we'll start with EMEA, as obviously Landon was successful in EMEA, but I thought we'd just sort of run through the bracket quickly, which means we do have to start with you, Chrissy, because the first game was that TE versus VP game, which obviously didn't go the way you would have hoped, but I think in many ways almost felt like your best performance of the stage, which maybe says more about the stage than anything else, but how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, technically. I think, to be fair, like, the last 3 or 4 times we played against like the Alcads or the TMs or the VPs, like we like didn't win team fights. Like it was outrageously bad. Whereas I actually think, without even having to cope, I think the series was right fucking there for us, to be honest with you. Like Dorado was really good. Like mid-tam, we actually when we won that first fight on attack where we just like insta-killed 2.
Oh, 5v3.
Yeah, I was like 5v3, that tank's dead. They could be in a wee bit of trouble here. And even Surabasa, I think, it's so there for us, to be honest. We got like into such winnable positions each time. So yeah, I mean, obviously we had like a few roster situations, and there's always some sort of situation going on week to week. Like you never get a situation-free week. There's always something. But yeah, I think people had pretty good performances. I think the team, within reason, came together pretty well, and I think we gave it a good shot. So we were gutted because we felt like we probably could or should have won, but I suppose it was objectively better than what we'd been doing before.
Need to ask as well, obviously, the big change was Skyle coming in, which I think most people didn't see coming beforehand.
Yeah.
Maybe even Skyle himself. So, how much of a difference did Nat make?
To be honest, it wasn't. To be honest, like one thing that was kind of good was like Scar was pretty hungry for it because obviously he saw an opportunity. He got kind of nice position to come into. Obviously, people say it's pressure, but it's like at the same time you come into a team where everyone expects you to lose, and if you win, it's because of you. You know, like he actually like even losing his stocks probably the Skyle stocks probably went up a little bit.
Yeah, he played good.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, and I think he actually the whole week he came in and he was like he obviously hadn't been jaded and destroyed mentally like the rest of us for the last like 6 weeks. So he came in with a bit of that positivity. He was trying to like find maybe slightly more solutions or like trying to keep things upbeat. So I think actually he lifted the team quite well. And I think we were maybe, to be honest, the communication was a little bit easier because we could kind of do a system where we said, Heesung, all right, just shut the fuck up and just play it. And the rest of us will kind of figure out a way to communicate. So yeah, fair play to Skyle. I think he did well. I think we're all quite grateful, that he was still willing to help us out.
I'm interested to hear a little bit more about that, Chrissy, because I mean, you've said that you unlocked this new system of communication where you tell Heesung to shut the fuck up. But this might be the first that we've heard of, Heesung requiring any form of silencing. You're trying to say that your Korean import didn't work out?
I would say that the spin doctor spun me, like a year ago, we talked about Heesung being the next coming. Yeah, I mean, he had communication issues, I think, both with just speaking English, but I think he also, I don't know, he was, I don't know, how do I say it? I think his vision of Overwatch was maybe different to everybody else's vision of Overwatch. I think he wanted to just fuck ult economy and just kind of jump in to beat in Kitsune a lot. He just wanted to just kind of get involved, which made planning more difficult. And it felt like for him to make plans was difficult because he couldn't necessarily always get the words out. And then the quality of those plans were also not super significantly good. So we had a few days where he was also like outrageously mental boomed and didn't want to talk. And then everyone was like, well, that's kind of nice like this, actually. Like, this is like, maybe we can roll with this a little bit more. So, again, it's just one of those situations. You've got to try to find a solution for the shit show that we found ourselves in. But also, to be fair to Heesung, I think he also actually played his best series of the year in that game too, Just
I mean, it was like a real dogfight. Like everybody was just watching that game. Like I remember like our whole team was like paused during warm up, just watching that match.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, it sounds like, Heesung, maybe he had a little bit of Marvel theory in him. I didn't really get like a lot of exposure to Marvel, to be honest, in 2023. I basically only got about a week of actually dealing with the guy, but it seemed like his whole style of the game was, like this is somebody that has like good mechanics and wants to play like an aggressive style of the game. And there's just no alternative, like this guy is going to push every single time, regardless of the ult state. And he wants to make a plan that involves going first and pushing all the time. And, some might argue that maybe that's not what the game is nowadays, but I think players like that in certain environments, they can make it work, Usually, I think, nowadays they can make it work for the 5th or 6th slot rather than, actually coming first. But at the end of the day, there is some like vague merit to what they're doing. Because, maybe if their hands work really good and they go really quick, then they beat the enemy team. But you never come first doing that, never at the top level. So I think it's something that, maybe players that are good in tier 2 learn because it's like, you can kind of out-tempo your opponents and out-mechanic them all the time. But you get to a certain level of skill and it's like, shit, this just doesn't work anymore. And maybe that's what Heesung was like to some extent, where he always just wanted to fucking get among it, even if the ult state said that you're going to jump in and die to their first layer of ults. But
which did happen. I mean, I think the frustrating thing with Heesung is I think even when he had weeks where he looked like the worst player in Europe, you could kind of still somewhere see that actually, like, if he wanted to learn or had a team where he would change certain things, he could be really good. Like I think everybody saw like genuine, really high level potential there. I think the issue was I guess the idea is you take like a young player and there's like this kind of idea. Well, if they come in with like a kind of like a humble attitude and they want to learn how to change a thing or two and they want to play for the team, then you take their raw mechanics, like the same thing that we did like with someone like Landon, right? Like he had like good mechanics, and we kind of, when he came into London, we kind of directed him towards the way that we wanted to play, made him fit in, taught him like the game at a higher level. The problem with Heesung was it wasn't just communication. It was like we would be like, oh, so when like I remember the week of playoffs, I had to tell him on 5 different occasions, if the enemy has Kitsune, don't one jump into them. And it wouldn't go in, you know, like he would always disagree with it, you know. So it was like, yeah, it's really frustrating because you watch him play that Dorado against VP and he's like, fucking hell, this guy's like actually like really, really high level player. But I think somewhere across the 6 weeks, he needed to, I don't know, we needed to be able to fix him, to improve him, to kind of get him to play a style which was more how we wanted to play, or maybe just like more smart Overwatch. But I think he was always very, very resistant. You know, like we had so many arguments that he sang about, like, don't just stand main or don't do this. And it was always, no, it's just if this guy plays aggressive, then it'll work, you know? And it wasn't like, I don't know, I just like it was, the barrier wasn't that he couldn't understand it, is that he didn't think he needed to change the way he played, which kind of just like kept us in this permanent loop of 4 people really frustrated that Heesung wanted to play one way and Heesung really frustrated that we didn't want to play his way, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I think you even saw shades of that, like in his previous team. Was it Onside Gaming in the previous stage when he was with I remember he was with Vindy on the Lucio, and there was like a final fight scenario where FTG, that might be right. Did FTG become Onside? I don't even. No, Onside's the team.
I think.
I don't know. I could just be talking out my ass. But either way, the team that he was on with Vindy, I remember there was a map that he lost where it's like he jumps at the spawn door of Esperanza, and it's like Vindy does have the beat, and Vindy does violently throw the game with said beat. But he also probably didn't need to jump at the enemy team's spawn door and kill himself there. You know what I mean? Like there was probably like a more methodical play that he could have gone about there where, you know, he pulls them in a little bit more and then they get a higher value dive and then they win, you know, through the balance of probability and Vindy not needing to rush across the map to beat and save Heesung. But I think that he always wants to go for the most aggressive version of the play. And that's why you would randomly see him jump into 5 players and kill himself too. Even when he was playing in Korea with no communication issues.
Well, yeah. Like I think even if you look at the Suravasa where we played like the dive stuff, I think you see that exact problem both times. Like both first and second point, we get to 99%. We're playing Anakiri, so we're playing a pretty wide comp. We have like incredible ults, and our decision making is to jump outside of our space, outside of our LOS, just right into them, you know. And then in both situations, we got peeled, and you could kind of see that like. That decision making, it is exactly what you're saying, where it's like, especially when push comes to shove, we have an ult, I'm in their spawn, good luck everyone else, you know. And my Ana, who's got this like really nice position at the back of the map, like waiting to, like, oh shit, I can't nade or shoot or heal anyone. Yeah, I hope you guys win, you know.
It's Rhino theory. It's Rhino instant theory, dude.
I mean, like even our team,
the Queen comp.
Even my team's kind of similar, you know. Like Ziad, like. Loves to do this. Like I can fly in their backline, like right here, guys. Like trust me, I will go kill someone. And then it's like me and Checkmate, like, bro, please come back. Like, go for our turn. And it's like a push and pull that like keeps everybody in check, you know?
Yeah. The problem is like that we couldn't bring him back, you know? Like
he was just going.
There was no words in the dictionary that brought him back, you know? And Ziad has those heavy fucking rockets, you know, and they're so heavy, those rockets.
I mean, they are the heaviest rockets.
And he's always good for it, you know, whereas a lot of the time, there isn't heavy Winston landing, you know, like even you hit your zap. Yeah, but, I mean, Gabby.
I think you probably saw elements of that in Korea as well, right? When you look at like, Heesung looks like this big talent on these weaker Korean teams where he can look like the best of the rest. But when he gets his chance on Zeta Division, he suddenly doesn't look like he cuts for mustard anymore when he's up against in these like elite matches.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't necessarily want to shit on him too hard because I do think I think he's young and I don't know. I guess somewhere like his heart's in the right place. I think for the most part, like if you look at some of the other players, I think he kept a more passion and more love for the game and stuff like that. But I just think it's very, very frustrating from our perspective. It's like if you just listen to us, if you just understand that you just need to change 1 or 2 things about the way you see the game, and then you're actually going to be like the best tank in Europe. For him to then say, no, that's not right. That was what was like the tilter, you know?
It's the same problem we had with Khan. was it
Yes,
season 5?
exactly.
Where
Yeah.
Khan was like super talented, like Zen, Anna, like honestly, like really could have carried us on those heroes. But so many times we would have conversations about like, we win the fight, we don't need to drop down and chase, you know, let's just keep a good position, we're defending, we'll do that. And
I remember that icon
couldn't
second.
get the idea into his head of just like, he's like, yeah, but I can get a kill. I was like, I know you can get a kill here, but who cares? They've lost the fight already.
It was so fucking tilting because Landon, you remember this shit too.
Yeah, the
I
icon
made a
second.
fucking video and I showed him like 7 examples of him making the same play, and every single time it failed. And Khan still says to me, deadass, yeah, but I could have got a kill. I'm like,
he could have gotten a kill. He could have gotten a kill.
I got evidence that every single time you make this decision, we take a winning situation, we lose it. Please stop doing it. Oh, but it could have worked. And it's like, once there's that level, you like it's impossible to break the barrier. You know, you need like psychosis or I don't know, some sort of like shock
unshakable
therapy
confidence.
Like a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, something needs to be done. But that's it.
Unshakable confidence.
I'm not even necessarily trying to say that I know best, but with Khan, I for sure knew best. Like, and that's what's frustrating is like if it's me that's telling you to play something, and then there's a lot of resistance from everyone else in the team, I'll be like, oh, that's crazy. But in both the situations with Khan and Heesung, it's like everybody's like, yes, please, like do this. Like, it wasn't just me versus him; it was me and everybody else in the team versus the player that had to change, and just not enough electrocutions or something. Just fucking Gabby, mate. It's just Gabby, you know.
It's just Gabby. Sometimes it's not just Gabby is the problem, Chris. That's the sad thing of it. Sometimes it's really not just Gabby, is it now?
I mean, it could be. It could be.
It's just Gabby. I don't know. I think a lot of these players, like Khan had success, you know? Khan had success playing Ana on a team that was like, I mean, they actually weren't that poo at all. I think it was a bunch of like extremely underrated players. Like, the fact that Dhillducks got kicked out of the Overwatch League for rack attack is still like one of the most outrageous downgrades in the history of the game. I think Dhillducks was like genuinely a promise to be like a top 3 main support in the game, top 5 main support, like no doubt. And the guy gets cut for like hands down one of the worst main supports that the league has ever seen. Like
already.
He's a nice guy, but he's a nice guy.
Though.
Let's be realistic here. I'm not trying to hate on the guy, but like, you know, he's just like an obvious downgrade on Dhillducks. Like Dhillducks was actually so fucking rock solid. And yeah, I mean, Khan had like great success on Ana, but sometimes these players like they will not bend to your system. You know, they need a system that works for what they are doing. And you know, if you've got a system player, but they only work in anti-Chris theory, then good fucking luck to you. You know, like you are not going to make it work any other way. Like you're never going to see Marvel having any success running down on the back line if he has a team that wants to do something other than go first tempo every single time. If Khan can't play aggressively and try to push into the back line and drop off the high ground and play for the final kill of the fight, it's not going to fucking happen. And you know, you just need a bit of push and pull. You need to have some players that want to make those plays, and you need to have other players that are a little bit more passive and rein it in and don't make all the plays and, you know, save their counterpart instead. But
like
unfortunately,
the problem was what was like tilting was like at some point I realized, okay, I can't explain Chris theory isn't going to make it work. So I said, I like fucking would bring up Twilight's Liquipedia or bring up Kev's Liquipedia, and I'd be like, these players are telling you they've won championships on dive. Just please like listen to them when they say that you shouldn't do this. And it worked to a degree. Like they were more, oh well, Kev thinks I should play this, but even then it wasn't. I tried every trick in the book minus the electrocution. You know.
Why didn't you try the electrocution? It's like you didn't even.
I should have. No, you're right. I should have. He was even in Sunderland for the last week, so I actually could have electrocuted him. Like I could have, instead of picking him up from the airport and taking him to his like gaming house, I should have took him to the local electrocution factory or whatever. They must have one in Sunderland, but that's on me. Honestly, that's on me. I have to hold my hands up for that.
Should we make our way through the bracket a little bit? So the next game was obviously the upper bracket final, which would also go on to be a grand final rematch as well. Which
wait a second.
Waiting.
Sorry, I don't mean to go back on it or anything, but I mean, are we even going to talk about the fact that Twilight wasn't playing? I know we mentioned Siles stepped in, but like, what's the go with Twilight?
Yeah,
I heard a thing or two.
Yeah, I mean, me too, but we're on a podcast now, so.
Yeah, so listen, there's been a few situations across the season. I don't know. I guess there's a few things to talk about. I think the first thing I'll say is I actually have like endless respect for Twilight because the guy's actually a fucking warrior. Like, given everything that happened, if I was in his shoes, I would have flown back to Korea so much fucking quicker, you know? I think, I mean, obviously Landon can attest to this too, because he's in a similar situation. But I think in EU, I think the sacrifice that we have to make for the people who get to work from home is so much less, you know? Like, we can actually put up with a lot of shit. But I think especially for the Koreans, and I guess kind of Landon too, like you have to relocate, you know, like you have to leave your family, you have to leave your friends, you have to leave your culture, everything to kind of do this. And I think the only reason realistically that a Korean player would want to do this, I think it's obvious that every single Korean player would rather play in Korea than for a Western team. I think that's probably not the hottest take that I've had this season. And there's only two reasons that you would do that, you know, unrelenting love of the game and unrelenting love of getting paid, you know. And I think for Twilight, it was obvious which of the boats he was in. And I think at some point for him to, you know, it's so tough for him. Like, he doesn't see anybody except fucking Heesung. It's the only guy he fucking saw every day, which didn't add any, didn't help. You know, he couldn't eat fucking pork, which is obviously something that Koreans absolutely love to do. Like, the first thing that when I took the Koreans, I took Simple and Heesung to Sunderland. The first thing says, I want some Qadsiah. Like, I need it right now. You know, I need some fucking pork ASAP. Like, you can't go out drinking, which again is like, it's so like, I'm not saying the experience is necessarily miserable, but when you combine all of the factors, it was really fucking miserable. And I think there was many times during the season where Twilight was like starting to be like, I don't want to be here. You would come into scrims and you'd just be so mentally boomed. And then there was a slight airspace related problem during the time. So then like there's just like unlimited stress on him. And we said to him, listen, yeah, I think just go back, you know, like we don't blame you. Like we're fully with you on this situation. Just go home, see your girlfriend, see your family. Just like it can't be worth it for this, you know? So honestly, he stuck with it for a long time, given how things were. And then thankfully we had Skyle anyway, so it didn't even end up going. I think he really wanted to stay to help the team as much as possible. But to be honest, like once you're in that mental state, even if he stayed, he was so fucking cooked, to be honest with you, you know? Like everyone shits on Twilight, like, oh, he's fucking awful, blah, blah, but I swear, like in his situation, it was impossible to play well, you know? Like it was just like I swear no player with what was happening could have played well, you know? So also Gabby, presumably.
Yeah, just another Gabby situation, really. Moving on.
Many such cases.
Yeah.
So, next up was the Alcad versus TM upper bracket game, which Alcad won, but a pretty close run affair. Actually, no, this was one that you smashed, right? I'm lost in the source. I'm muddling up all the Alcad.
Was it not free
tournament? Yeah, which tournament are we talking about?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This one was the close one. Yeah, it was the Saudi League one where it was the smash. So yeah, this was a super close game. This was the one where I think, obviously, maybe some of the headlines were Twisted Minds won the Simban map on Qadsiah, and then it was really back and forth. This is where it felt like even that New Junk City that it finished on, if Simple had maybe swapped Kiri or something earlier, maybe this series goes a different way. What was your perspective of this one, Landon?
I mean, it was like an absolute dogfight, as it always is. Our team had done like a ton of prep, because for like 3 weeks before that match, we didn't get to scrim Twisted like at all, you know? So going into that match, we had like a ton of comps we wanted to try, you know? Like the Kiri Sojourn versus the Bap Cassidy was like a really big one for our team. Like pure theory wise, we were convinced we were right. And we wanted to see like if in the actual match it would feel that way, you know? And we wanted to try like some Bastion stuff. We wanted to try like mirroring the Ram a little bit and testing the waters. So going into the match, we had a ton of things we wanted to try out and just kind of like test the waters for grand finals, you know? Like see what kind of comps would actually work and what comps didn't work, and we just have to like full on mirror them in the grand finals.
It felt like a lot of it actually worked in this one as well. Like the Bastion stuff actually caused them like real problems. And it felt like they were very much on the back foot throughout all of this.
Like the May Sim stuff too, like it felt like actually you guys had like, it felt from the outside perspective that everybody kind of had TM as the favorites, I think, over you. But you guys kind of like, you knew exactly what they were going to do, whereas they also knew what they were going to do, you know? Like they didn't come in with like the intention of adapting necessarily. They kind of said, we're just going to play our way, and it's worked against everybody else convincingly. And I think you guys are good enough at those heroes that once you start to throw in 1 or 2 picks and make things a little bit awkward, it did feel somewhere. I don't know if it's a junk book gap or just a preparation gap in general, but that's kind of how it felt, especially in that first series, was that you guys, every one of your little cheese maybe isn't the right word, but every single one of your like pocket picks worked, whereas they were kind of stuck on just doing what they want to do, you know?
Yeah, because like the way our team works is everyone gives ideas and they kind of like pass through like the junk book filter, you know? Like I'm over here and I'm like, hey guys, on circuit we should ban Juno and play Bastion. Then my team's like, I don't know. And then it goes through junk book. Then like a week later, he's like, okay guys, like try this in this scrim, you know? Or like Checkmate, like Checkmate loves May Sim, you know? So like every May Sim idea is Checkmate like begging us to play it on a certain map, you know? And then it like passes the junk book filter and then Lambda does it if junk book wants. But like 2 weeks before that match, like our last scrim against TM, we played like almost like a full-on mirror, like just maybe a little bit of Diva, but so much like Bab Cassidy. And we lost like 2-4 in the scrim, I think. So going into like the upper bracket finals, we wanted to like just try a bunch of stuff. Then worst case, like we go back to like that 50-50 full mirror, you know?
Yeah, it seemed to work out pretty well. Obviously, because once we got to... I guess we can talk about the lower bracket final a little bit more. This one was the TM versus VP series, which it looked like TM had locked up for most of it. But then VP actually fought back quite a bit here, which was maybe... I think a lot of people sort of coming into it were expecting like a TM Alcad bit of a like a small tier break and then VP underneath. So it actually felt like a more impressive performance from VP. It felt like they were in a similar boat to what Alcad were trying to do, where we saw VP actually come out with a few more different looks than we've maybe seen from them throughout. We saw them do like a sim ban into the Malga. I think that was on Rita Sappy. And then they did the Junker Queen venture Genji on New Junk City, which admittedly did look really bad for them. but it did feel like they were also in the boat of trying a few different things, but then ultimately did actually push them all the way to that map 5 as well.
Yeah, even like on our team, like we just assumed TM was gonna like win, like maybe 3-0 or 3-1, and we'd like only prep for TM, and then like in the middle of our warm up, we're like getting stressed out, watching this match become like an absolute map 5 dogfight. Because our only game plan for that day was like, okay, guys, against Twisted on this map, we ban this, and there was no VP section in the document. But it went map 5.
Yeah, coaching document.
We were like, oh crap, we gotta start prepping.
Also a document head.
Oh, not
I mean like a bit, like not like an actual document, but like,
oh, thank God.
You know what I mean?
Thank God.
Not an actual document. Don't worry.
Documents for the way ahead all along.
Don't worry, no documents.
Yeah, because in the end, actually had to be like a pretty big one. VP even did actually win one of those sim mirrors as well on Circuit Royale, but then didn't take it on King's Ray. But I don't know, certainly I guess like more promising for Virtus Pro, even though ultimately I think we'll wait and see how like the Esports World Cup groups like end up. But obviously I think being third seed from a region probably means you're inevitably going to get a pretty tough group one way or another. So maybe a tough run for VP because they couldn't get it, but they were really in the mix actually.
Yeah. I feel if the meta doesn't change, we're going to have another EU versus NA fucking brawl at some point, but I feel like actually all 3 EU teams will have like, they are not going to beat the Koreans. We're not talking about that anymore. Like, fuck that. Okay,
I think we can. If there was ever a meta for EU to beat them.
We see that every year, mate. We said
No.
We said that, mate. You and me said that. I mean, you're right. What Sim surely must be like if
Bab
it's not
Sim
Bab
cast.
Sim,
like, come on, guys. Like, what other comp? Like, what other comp?
Right. But
the time is now.
I mean, if it's not now,
it's tomorrow.
Just give up. Like, if we can't beat them now, just give up. This meta is so good for us.
Chopped up by ball, you know, like EMEA doesn't really have a whole lot of ball talent.
Yeah,
does
true.
it? Like, what if all this sim stuff just starts falling over in the face of Dark and Juman on the wrecking wheel? Like,
just go cast. Like, just put flashbang on him. Just put the flashbang on him, Lambda. You got that.
Just flash him, Lambda.
Just flashbang him, bro. Yeah, he's got this. I believe in him.
Reliable strategy versus those teams. But yeah, I mean, if there was a meta for EMEA to dominate in particular, I think it would be this, right? Like Bap, Kiri, and Sim everywhere all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. We'll get to it in a bit. When I was watching the NA games, like obviously this is what I always think, but I was thinking like with the comps that NA are playing, like Tracer, like Kassa, Rissa, Bat Brig and stuff, I'm like, I swear the EU teams would just absolutely fucking
Destroy
melt this
them.
with the meta read alone. Like not even saying EU is better than NA. See, it is though, but like the comps that NA are playing, like there's so little sim, and sim's so good into almost everything that NA is playing.
There's like
that it
no
feels
sim players, like only Wymone, and there's like not a diva player in that region, you know.
Yeah, it's fucking true, mate. It must be
Like
so
one
easy.
diva or one
so easy
sim,
to
and like the
qualify in,
whole like the whole meta
NA.
changes.
Oh yeah, free. I do think like
But just go diva.
It's really bad for NA. Like the NA versus EMEA matchup, I think that like there's at least two of the EMEA teams are like way higher level on sim than what Geekay is, or at least it feels that way. I think Geekay is like really, really high level on BAP and Kiri and those sorts of comps, but I don't think that their BAP Weaver stuff is very good into the sim though, is the problem. Like I think the sim will break like one of their biggest strengths at the moment with, you know.
I mean, sim is so strong.
Diva as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like sim and diva both just chop up like BAP Weaver, which is Geekay's biggest thing. Like
like it's a really good matchup for EMEA.
And then like if they wind up in a sim mirror, I think that the EMEA teams have like a higher level of sim play than NA.
Because we grind sim mirrors all day, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like you watch EMEA playing sim, and it's like holy shit, they're just all over the map all the time. You watch NA playing sim, and it's like it's way slower, like not nearly as high level, to be honest.
Yeah. When those heavy rockets hit NA for the first time, they're in serious fucking trouble. They're not gonna know what's happening.
I mean, they'd love Ziad over there. Like I'm always talking to Ziad. The tank players always messaging him. Like there was a whole like revolution that happened in North America because you know Ziad's like a free thinker. You know, he has no experience, so he just plays the reset. He's like, I'm just gonna use the shield perk. And he just starts putting down a shield. And next thing I know, all the idiot teams are putting down shields. Like they just follow him. They love him over there. He's a free thinker, you know.
Should we move on to the grand final as well? Because obviously this one actually looked like all of a sudden all of the experiments that worked in the upper bracket final, and then the gap looked really big for a little bit. And then TM make the swap. They start just mirroring the diva in a lot more situations. TVNT comes in, and there's a bit of a revival, but not enough in the end. So from your perspective on the other side, Landon, what was the big difference between those first few maps against KSA and then when they brought in TVNT?
I mean, TM's style is like pretty straightforward. Like they play like just to put a rim on point and then kind of like surround you and then just like win. And so sometimes it works really, really well. Sometimes it doesn't. I think for like a couple of different reasons that day, we just like kept getting picks when they like set up, you know, like they would set up and someone would just die. Like either it was me, it was Labda, it was Checkmate, it was some random Ziad bomb that somehow kills KSA. Like something magical would just happen, you know? And the setup just wasn't working. So they just tried to change it. Then they won 2 maps like with a different style.
Yeah, because even one of those maps, I think it was was it Runa Sapi where was it the Diva ban maybe, and that's where TVNT just played Ram anyway.
Yeah. Runa Sapi, we weren't really sure if like we're comp to play. I think like we played May Sim, but in hindsight, it was just a terrible map for it. And I think we played bad. I think if we're gonna play May Sim on that map, we need like a crazy like insta speed amp like running into them, you know, like style. If we played a little too scared, and I also think that map is just crazy for Sojourn. It's just not a good main map. And Servasa, I got mad.
Yeah, Servasa was kind of gabbing.
I was so mad, actually. Like, I actually cannot believe that there is no system for perks. Like, I'm sitting here in a grand finals, and they're telling me, "Hey, bro, sorry, you need to like leave the game when you're and you're the only ult." Like,
wait,
I have it in my ear telling me that I have the only ult, and I need to alt F4, like just close my game and rejoin.
Wait, why?
Because I picked the wrong perk.
Oh, I thought you just DC'd again.
No, the admins are in my ear like, "Hey, bro, sorry, you picked the triangle instead of the square Kiriko perk, so you like just get out of here, like just."
Oh, so
just
you
leave.
DC'd the first time, lost your perks, then got them back fast, picked the wrong one, got ult, and then admin.
As soon as I get ult, it's final fight, our only ult. The admins are like, "Hey, bro, you have to leave."
That's okay. That's kind of.
I was so mad. I was like, "Hey, team, can we just forfeit this map?"
It was like, I don't know. It wasn't. It was like one. It was the next round of Flashpoint, right? Because he.
Yeah. Like we DC'd when I was at
like
control,
2 minutes maybe.
So we lose that, and then when I reconnect, they're like 2 points capped, 80%, and I have Curiel, and it's our only ult. And the admin is telling me you picked the wrong perk. I have to leave. You know.
To be fair, they told you to pick a certain perk, right? Like
yeah. They did. But apparently, I picked like I trusted my gut. You know, like I always pick the exact same perks, and somehow I picked the wrong one on like the first go around. You know, I hit a little left click instead of a right click or something.
So you actually misclicked the first time.
The first time.
And
so
then
when
you
I picked
went
my
on
standard
the
perks,
second time and you got it right.
It was the wrong one.
Okay, that's Gabby. That's actually Gabby.
Like if you
That's
go back,
Gabby, actually.
like if you go back to Servasa, I always pick like the left click heals people. Like I always want to do damage, then it heals. That's how I play. You know? And I picked like the faster travel time. Like I'm never gonna pick that in my life. So I just assumed I picked my standard ones. And then I had to leave and I wanted to forfeit the map and my team told me to just play it out. I was mad.
Couldn't
I wanted to just full on forfeit, like make a statement, you know.
Get my worse if you remember it. I don't know if you watched it, man.
He lost an ult, right? Like,
yeah.
No, but it was like final fight, our only ult, and I have to leave the game.
Says get out. That's like
I have to leave the game. But I'm sitting here.
Your heals are coming 50% quicker to people halfway.
I was so mad. Like I was fuming in my chair.
He lost everything.
No perks, no ult.
Wait, when you reconnect, do you actually lose the perks fully?
Yeah.
Perks, ult charge. You got like triple fucked.
And I'm in spawn.
Everything.
Just go home, guys.
Ults and perks all gone.
I was so
mental.
mad.
I lost his mental too.
Yeah, I mean, like after that map, like I stood up, I had like a little walk, you know, get some water, sit back down. Okay, we're good. Let's play.
Yeah, handing Yubi the reverse sweep from fucking above, like just.
Admins, I was so mad. I mean, like it makes sense. Like I don't think they did anything wrong, but there for sure should be a system to fix perks.
It's never coming. You can't watch replays.
Just
7 months into the year. Like,
I mean, let us DC it and pick different perks, man. Let's just like, I'm picking different perks. Like, let's go back to what UV was doing. Let's bring it back.
UV actually ruined it. Like, he tried to cheat the system, and you're the victim of the cheating. You know,
UV altered for a regular season game, and you had to pay the price in playoffs.
Yeah,
like,
in a grand finals.
That's fucked up, actually.
Could have just been me, man. I could have gotten away with it.
You 100% would have gotten away with it if it
100%.
wasn't for that UV situation as well.
I blame him, bro. It was Oasis, right, that he did it on?
Yeah.
Bastard.
Then, after this all as well, I think, really on balance, I think most people probably agree that Alcad felt very much like deserved winners, given the regular season and given the players' performance. But you guys never stopped playing TM. So, a little bit later, you had to play Saudi E-League as well. Rematch, basically. This time, upper bracket final, smash them, and then you do the same thing. You meet them again in the grand final. But this time, absolute dogfight. You end up on the wrong side of it. Probably worth noting for both teams in question, Haku is playing instead of Qadsiah, and Psycho is playing instead of Simple as well. So both teams with a less optimal roster. But what was it just the Qadsiah difference? What was the big difference for you guys in the Saudi League?
I think for sure we could have just won. Like that Circuit Royale, losing that is like such like a punch in the face. Like we held them early on second, and we just fumbled on our attack. Like it didn't even cap second. Otherwise, like we're 3-0 up. But I also think like overall, I kind of felt like if we'd lost OWCS, we would have won that match, because I think like we would have changed. Like we would have played Ram on certain points. You know, we played like some more BAP or some more CAS on certain points. But I think, because we won OWCS, we were so confident in our comp that like no matter what happened, we just kind of kept playing it, you know? And that day it didn't really work, but that's just how it is, you know?
It felt a bit like a classic case of the losing team always tries to adapt more. It felt like TM changed like a few more things. Like it felt a lot harder for Ziad to have the same impact maybe in that grand final as he normally does. And it felt like TM number one's like changing things up a little bit more to try and find it.
Yeah, I mean, like Zeb was still getting like a ton of value. Like the maps were super close, but we just couldn't quite pull it off. And I think some of the bans could have changed how we played, but also like it's hard to say that when like map 7, it's like 2-2, 99-99. You know, and it's like like do we really need to change anything?
Well, I thought you had it because it was map 7 was the Kiriko ban, right? So then it's a Kiriko ban, and then it is you versus Psycho both on Baptiste, and I was like, yeah, and this has to be clear advantage now for Qadsiah here. Like this has got to be, but I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't play that well. Like I think like
5 rounds, right?
Like our comp could have worked, but I actually think in hindsight, it actually like felt like kind of like an ugly comp to play. Like maybe like our two options for that final map was we could have gone Hollywood and try to play like a high ground comp, like keep playing our same comp but go Hollywood, or go Saravasa, which like we've scrimmed a ton, and play like the D.Va into Ram. But I think we kind of had never like played that comp before, like a D.Va versus Ram, like BAP versus BAP instead of Kiriko. We didn't really play that well. Like I could have played so much better, and we could have won that map for sure.
Yeah, I guess it takes a lot, because there's a lot of times you see it where like Ziad's getting value, or he's nearly getting value, or he's in big trouble, and then you TP, and then all of a sudden, or checkmate TPs, and then all of a sudden the fight looks really different. But on Baptiste, you end up getting, I guess, left behind.
Yeah, the BAP just felt like a little more awkward. Like if I walk with Ziad, then it felt like Labda wasn't getting like the resources he needs, or if I walk with, like vice versa. But I think like I could have played better. Like I think there's ways to make it work, and we were like one fight away from making it work.
Yeah, I guess what's worth noting, as I imagine, probably a few people who didn't see this series, or not as many people who saw it as OWCS, but this was also, KSA was in every single map for TM, which obviously underwrites a little bit of the TV and TV solution, KSA the problem narrative from the grand finals here, is that actually they won the series with KSA in. So definitely a better look for TM, even though, again, like all the caveats of missing players and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, like they were missing a player, like we were missing a player. I think it was pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, I think Simple, especially for TM, really. I think, like maybe you said on the last episode, Chris, just that Simple has really been like the MVP for TM so far in this stage.
He's crazy good. Like he's really good.
Yeah. I feel when I watch it, I feel it must be so nice to play like Sim BAP with D.Va. No, like I feel like it. Imagine on London all the shit we had to solve with Reinhardt. Like I feel like D.Va's fucking like he makes like all the counter comps that we like all the Annas and the Faras. So hard to play versus.
I mean, for sure. Like the way that I like playing the game and the heroes that I play, like me playing with an off tank instead of a main tank is like a way better fit. Like the style that I like playing, like at Circuit Royale, like the stuff that we do with like we sim TP like a D.Va behind, and then I TP to the D.Va. And now we have like just this crazy strong pincer like on the off angle that like no main tank can do that. Like you're gonna play like Baller Winston and jump to the off angle on Circuit, you know. Like the style that I play, I think like an off tank is really like helpful for me to play with. And Ziad's playstyle is crazy. Like the guy's like an actual freak on D.Va.
He really is.
He's actually really so good. Like easily best in the world.
Yeah. His
like
D.Va's insane.
Right now.
Yeah,
I think like his only weakness is like he's so confident in his mechanics, maybe for good reason, that like if no one says anything, like if there's no plan, he will be diving backline. You know, like so like you start every fight like at that baseline level. Like if we don't say anything, he will be flying at the backline this fight, you know? And then it's like up to like me, checkmate, or Labda sometimes even to like, okay guys, like do this instead, or like play this way.
Yeah. I mean,
like
he's
checkmate
done pretty
does
well
like a ton
flexibility wise as well, I think, Ziad. You know, like because he sort of comes in with this big D.Va reputation, but when you force him onto Orisa or force him onto Ram or something, he's actually competing with whoever he seems to play against.
Yeah, the Orisa was the real surprise. Like we weren't really sure like how the Orisa would go, because I think Maga like is a little more one-dimensional of a character, especially in like a mirror. Like it's kind of like just get good pins in, or like just have good aim, you know. But Orisa was like a really big surprise, because Orisa's like a very dynamic character. Like you can shoot tank every fight, you can go for backline, you could, like there's a lot to the character, and we were really surprised how fast he picked it up. And like our regular season game against VP was like unreal, like what that guy was doing to them. Like he was just flanking on Orisa, just killing 5 people a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe it's insane scouting or whatever, but like he's been like the difference maker from what people expected from you at the start of the season, looking at the roster, to how good you guys actually are. It's like Ziad might actually just be the best tank in Europe, you know? And it's like when everyone looked at like the TM and the T roster, it was like, everyone's like, oh fuck, like Alcad have to sign Ziad because they want to play an SEL, and they think, oh well, is he the same level as all like the Vestolas and the KSAs and the Haddies and everything, and the Mags obviously. Well, Max isn't here, but then it was like quite quickly apparent. Everyone's like, oh shit, okay, there really isn't a problem in the tank position for this team, and then you guys were pretty well covered elsewhere, you know. Same with Libda, turned out to just be like I mean, maybe you guys knew when you signed him, but his hit scan is like way better than the general public, at least, or even me would have expected when you put that roster together, you know?
Yeah, Lambda, we had like much more like faith in, like, cause like I see this guy playing ranked all the time. I see him just like spawn camping like pro players on Sojourn mirrors. Ziad, you kind of have to give all the credit to Haku actually. Like Haku's the reason he's on the team.
Really?
Because the way like our roster like was built was that like Haku joined like Qadsiah, like I think he has contacts with the org or something, if I believe right. So Haku joins them, and then they work with Haku to build the roster. So like they bring Ziad, you know, and then I think then they bring a Kai. So it's like a Kai, Haku, Ziad, like the start of the Qadsiah project.
The big three to start.
I mean that is the big three, you know. And then I think they bring Checkmate, like Checkmate's next in line to that group. Then Checkmate brings me. And then I'm pretty sure Ziad, like Ziad is like a massive Lambda fan, like they're good friends. So then Lambda comes to the team, and that's the roster. I think a Kai signs Junkbuck after.
Yeah,
but like the whole reason Ziad was on the roster
I'm glad it
was
wasn't
like
Junkbuck who scouted it all and put it all together like a genius, you know? Because he just got fucking lucky, mate. He's just lucky.
I mean, yeah, like all of the Ziad scouting, I think it's from Haku because they played like an SEL last year, and I guess Haku thought he was really good, so he signed him, or not signed him, but like recommended him to the team.
Good shout though, honestly, what a good shout.
Yeah, I know. It's
good shout from Haku
this season. Yeah.
Good shout from Haku.
Can we? Can we talk about Junkbuck then too? Because I'm actually quite interested to hear about it. Because I think maybe one thing across the years is like that original shock. That Krusty 9-kid Junkbuck, the three-headed dragon, it was always like, I think from the public, Krusty got a lot of the appreciation, but behind the scenes in the league, people really hyped up, like they said, oh yeah, Junkbuck and 9K are like really fucking good coaches. And it feels like actually, if we're just looking at success, it actually feels like Junkbuck, in my opinion, now stands out as pretty much unquestionably the best coach of all time, right? Like I think everywhere he's gone, he's been pretty successful. Like he's never had a bad season, I think genuinely ever. So what do you think of working with him? He's probably not the best coach you've ever been coached under, but he must be pretty close.
I mean, it's an absolute dogfight for the number one coach, you know. But Junkbuck's interesting because like he's like a very like casual coach when he coaches. Like it's not like it's not like he like is like, okay guys, we're gonna play this comp this exact same way. It's like a bit more free flowing. Like I remember stage 1 in like these Magumirs, like all anyone said like watching us play was like, wow, they play like crazy aggressive, like always going first. And that did happen because of Junkbuck, but it happened in like a roundabout way, you know? Like I came into the Maga comp like playing like a bit more slow, like I like to kite a bit more, and we just sucked at it.
Chris style.
We could not beat TU. Like KSA would just pin in, and we like every fight he would just somehow live at like 1 HP. And like nothing we did like would stop it. He would just pin in. We're all burning on fire, and we just lose like every fight. And so Junkbuck's like, okay, like I don't know why, but we just can't like win a fight playing slow. Just pin in every fight, guys. And then we just pinned in every fight, and it worked. You know, like it's not like some crazy like genius mastermind. It's like he just looks at like what works, what doesn't work. All right, guys, like change this, and then our team changes it. Yeah. Like you guys are pinning in, and regardless of like whether or not like a Manga comp should just pin in every fight, it was like like we're not winning doing this, you know? Like we're not winning playing slow.
It's like our Dorado. You remember our Junker Queen Dorado hold? Guys,
yes.
Obviously we should hold high ground. It's objectively better to hold high ground, but we are so shit from the high ground. Just get on the fucking point, boys. You know, just drop and hold on the payload, and it worked. It was actually like
phenomenal success rate.
But that decision increased our win rate 100%. You know.
Yeah, he's very similar. Where like obviously like Overwatch is like a complex game. Like there's some fights that you should kite, you shouldn't just pin your Maga into 5 people. With our team, it was like like we have like a crazy high success rate when we just pin in, and they'll just somehow always one shot someone with slam. Like it's an absolute miracle. But it happens every fight. So he throws away like playing slow and just like has us play fast.
It reminds me a bit of, you know, when you would watch Falcons play the Mount comps, and Hambin would be in, and then he'd be dead. and it'd work every time. And you'd be like, there's no other situation where a main tank, your tank is dying consistently first, and your win rate is this high. But if it works, it works. And
even Ziad wanting to play fast, like Ziad is not the one like asking to pin in, you know, like he does not want to play that way. Like every Mago player, I think, wants to play selfish, and like kind of wants to like do the HP trade. You know, like look for like their own good.
That's what
better
always
shout.
Says every single fight, regardless if he has the best shout in the world or a terrible shout. My shout is better, guys. You know.
I mean, of course, his shout is better.
You know.
So every Mago player is like that, but like it's our team, like it's our team, like making him or like begging him to like just pin into 5 people. Like just let Checkmate get some dash resets. Let Landon take like some crazy off angle. Because if a Mago pins into 5, like no one looks at like the off angle DPS. You know, like it makes so much space. And that's something like I do have to like enjoy about my current team was it's kind of impossible to imagine like old SSG ever playing that way.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I don't know if we could, like I love Hottie, but I don't know if we could ever convince him to just pin in and die for the 5 of us. Like just go in and you're just gonna die every fight. Like and like hopefully like we win, you know?
Yeah, I mean I think we would have like the same thing that you're talking about, you guys in Junkbook doing, where it's like, well, listen. When we play fast, we win. When we play slow, we lose. On SSG London, it was often the opposite, right? Like it was like, actually, the more methodical and the slower we play, so we would effectively, I guess we would make the same decision, but we would always come to a different conclusion 9 times out of 10, you know? But I think that's like that's just the nature of like styles and teams and stuff, you know?
And I think as Overwatch has changed, I do think like the faster style has been like more successful over like the like since season 9. I really think the season 9 patch, like the hitbox changes, like it kind of like killed them in like methodical way.
Yeah,
like when you just pin in, like the fact that Ziad could just fly to 5 people, and through a combination of mechanics and season 9 hitboxes, he just kills someone. Like preseason 9,
so fucking broken. Like
like preseason 9, there's no way that works.
Broken tank patch, you know. Like, he
also
was always playing the worst tank in history, so he's like, Laddie really didn't have that. He had it tough, you know.
Yeah, but I think like the way Overwatch has been trending, like since OWCS and season 9 started, is like a more just like crazy aggressive. Like everyone looks for their own picks. Like play like a bit more carefree. Like I think it's hard to play methodical. It's still possible, but it's harder to play methodical when, like, if someone peeks you, they're just going to hit the shot, like, most times. Whereas Season 9, like, if you were just standing on point, you could kind of dodge a little bit. Like, maybe they miss a little bit. Maybe you can dodge a nade. You can push the point. Feels like these days, if you try to play that way, like, you just die. Like, it's just over. I think it benefits players like Ziad a lot. There's, like, natural instinct is to play that kind of, like, crazy aggro style.
Yeah, well, it keeps... Because I remember there was even a conversation, maybe it was around the Hangzhou Major, I think when Tread came in for a bit, where Junkbug was again like trying to look for like more of that balance in terms of different styles being available in different situations. But ultimately, it just always seems like that type of style just fits all of you so well. And then refining that almost ends up being like a better path for progress than trying to play like, I guess what you'd call like the theoretically correct way in every situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think this stage, like, we actually like did do a lot to like learn other styles. Like at the end of stage 1, we kind of only played crazy aggressive, and towards China, we started playing Tread. We started like learning how to play like a bit more slow, like what fights we should actually play proper Overwatch and try an ult ability or 2. And in stage 2, like I think like especially in these sim mirrors, like we've gotten crazy good at kiting. And, like wasn't a thing we ever did in stage 1. Like especially starting in stage 2, like I think we actually like do play like a more dynamic Overwatch.
Do you think it was
just confidence from stage 1? Kellex helps a lot, but I also think like our whole team like is playing like more confident, like playing like a bit smarter, and just like in general, especially with Checkmate calling these TPs, we're just like more on the same page more often. Whereas the Maga comp, I think like it's harder to play like kiting because everyone has to like do their own thing and end up at the same place. With TP, it's like, okay, everybody, just come to this exact same spot and I'll get us out.
How is Checkmate's English?
Oh, phenomenal. He hates doing interviews because he says like his English is terrible, but he has perfectly normal English. Like he could like go to college in America. Like he swears he has the world's worst English, but like it's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, Carpe was the same. Carpe's English was like actually absolutely fine, but you could never get him to do an interview in English.
Mhm.
But I mean, I would do an interview in Korean, and it would just be really shit, you know?
Was it Moby Dick as well? Like, meet Moby Dick at multiple lands and just have like a multi-hour conversation, no problem, never lost. Interview in English? Oh no, I can't do that. My English is so bad. I was like, I've just been talking to you for 3 hours.
Yeah, Checkmate's the same way. Like, I lived with Checkmate for like 3 months. You know, like we talk English every day. Like, English is totally normal. Could talk about anything. You know. So in game, like he's phenomenal. Like, I think like if you watch our team and you're like, wow, that was like a good engage. That was a good disengage. Like 8 out of 10 times, I think it's Checkmate calling that. He's like really just phenomenal. Like at seeing the game.
I think Checkmate was probably one of the players that a few people were low on coming into it when, like, right at the start of the year when rosters were announced. People were like, well, how is he gonna really stack up to players like Kev and stuff like this or Psycho? Whereas actually, I feel like even though we had like probably a really rocky, for lack of a better word, 2024, he looks like the real deal, you know. And I think actually, like, you start talking about like the top sims, like him and Yubi are just in like a different category, I think, to anyone else on any of the other teams.
He must have the best hero pool of any of the Flex DPSs for sure, right? Because he can play all of like the backbone type heroes and the Kev's type heroes. I don't know. Yeah. Whilst also shot calling, he actually just seems like an insanely fucking high value player when you think about, it has an insane hero pool and shot calls everything. Actually, seems like a good shout again from Haku. Like, honestly, Haku.
I think it might have been like more Kai or maybe like more I don't know who exactly like signed Checkmate. Someone signed him.
It's probably a Kai doing like most of the heavy lifting when it came to thinking, though, if I would have hazard a guess. Yeah,
because Ziad was because of Haku, and then I think Lambda was because of Ziad, and then someone signed Checkmate. I don't know who exactly, and then I came because of Checkmate because he asked for me.
So the system is one person gets someone else in, then that next person has to pick the next player, and somehow it just works out perfectly.
And we all got it right.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I got it wrong because like I fought super hard for Tread, and I think Tread played well, but Ziad like was just a good shout from Haku.
Oh wow, well done,
you
man.
broke the streak.
I broke the streak. I mean, Tread played good. He played in China like he took a map off Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I looked at this roster initially, I was like, Tread's like pretty good actually in terms of like the available options, probably as close as you can get to like the KSA sort of like Vestala thing. But obviously, like, nobody saw Ziad come in, except for Haku, of course.
Yeah, I think the big difference between Tread and Ziad is like actually personality. Like I think having a player like Checkmate who makes so many calls and like is such like a storied player, it can be difficult, I think, for like tank players to work with that. Like I think like when we I think like the pressure of playing with like Checkmate, like constantly like calling like exactly how to play sometimes, or like what ults to use, where to stand, what a tank should be doing, especially as a flex DPS player, I think it's a lot of pressure. And Tread, more often than not, would just kind of like listen to what Checkmate said. Like if Checkmate said push, Tread is just forming in and getting involved. Like he's just gonna start fighting. But Ziad, for whatever reason, is this random 17-year-old kid, has like this insane ego where like his Overwatch League champion is telling him,
I've got the same one. I've got the same guy. Don't worry.
Insane ego.
Saying, mate, okay.
And he's like, I just can't really push that, man. You know? And it sounds bad, but it actually
he knows his limits.
Better for our team because like he sees the game for himself. You know? Like it's such a strange personality to have, but I think like you need it. Like you need like your like tank player to like have an ego and look for their own things. To a certain point.
I think as long as everyone's listening, it actually balances it out, you know? Like I think like people would always make it like if we use London as like an example of the sim team, people would always talk about like, we're all just on the same page all the time. And it's like, yeah, but if you actually listen to the comms, it's a load of people saying yes, but a few people saying not yet. Like it might look like we got the timing perfect, but there's a load of like small corrections and stuff that actually going in to get it right or finding the one that works every time.
Yeah, and you need like everyone like to think for themselves. Like I think like I love Tread, but the issue with Tread is like Checkmate would call something, and no matter what, like Tread would just say like I'm gonna do that, you know. And it sometimes, as good as Checkmate is, he only sees the game from his perspective. You know, he can't see what our tank sees. He can't like know what cooldowns our tank has. But, like you kind of need like an independent like someone that like understands the checkmate smart, but also like can counter call. For some reason, my 17-year-old kid has that ego.
You need people that are capable of listening, but are also like, understanding that it's their job to carry the game all the time. Like, if you're just always doing your own thing 100% of the time and you never listen to the team call, then, you're probably going to have a problem unless you have like, the best intuition ever. But ultimately, like if you're just a follower, if all you ever do is listen and you can't think for yourself, then you're never going to carry the game. You're never going to carry outside of when someone else is telling you exactly what to do. Like you're just not a top tier player if you can't carry the game with what is going on inside your own head.
And that's why like our team loves Ziad, I think, because like we have like a structured plan. Like I can like I lead like a good bit on our team in sub comps. Checkmate leads like a ton. And so like when we have these ideas, like me or Checkmate, like we call them, like we play it. Even Kellex like has his ideas. And if we don't have any plans, that's when I think like Ziad really shines. Like when there's nothing to do, like the ult situation is just screwed. We have no ults. He just puts those heavy missiles on and just like takes someone out. He just takes someone out, like
I mean, to be honest, it's Steven, mate. Just shift on someone and kill him.
Like I remember like that grand finals, Kings Row. It's like the most egregious clip of all time. Like I remember playing and watching it, and it's okay. So it's Kings Row grand finals. We're on defense. We flip the map. They flip the map. We have like no ults. They have the ADB. Like the fight looks scary. So we TP above them, and I do 0 damage to Astro. And I watch that just drop on cart, and Astro just disappears. Like he's nowhere to be gone. Like the next second. Like if you guys go pull it up, it's the craziest kill. Like I don't understand how it happens.
It was so tilting watching Korea and see them play like 0 D.Va and not understand how when I watch the EU Divas, like how is this not just the best? Like how can every other region not play this hero? And like this hero is so fucking broken. It actually has been for so long now, I don't know, like, but then internationally, honestly, what will happen is international the D.Va won't fucking wait for whatever fucking reason. Like maybe it's actually not meta. I don't know. I mean,
it worked. It worked for us. Like we beat Winston with D.Va, and we just lost to like Magamir.
Yeah,
like it's doable.
Yeah, and
because I swear that character's broken.
It really is. Maybe you just need a Saudi player on D.Va. If you've got a Saudi tank on D.Va, because that's where TVNT and KSA do.
I mean, yeah, like both of them play like D.Va. TVNT's crazy on it, to be honest.
Yeah, TVNT is really fucking good.
But like stuff like that, like third point fight, where like there's no other tank in the game that gets that pick, but just somehow my D.Va goes in and gets it. Like, I don't know.
That reminds me, we actually saw the TVNT Winston for a brief appearance, and I think it was Saudi E-League as well, because it was Alcad were doing the like May sim comp, which obviously ruins a D.Va's life. So TVNT just goes Winston, does nothing, just walks with the team and then presses bubble, and then it was like
it was a good shout.
Swaps and like goes back to Sojin, and it's like but I don't know.
It was a good call from them.
Yeah, I actually thought he should have just kept it. Why not? Like kept it for longer, see what happened, but. Not got the hands for it, unfortunately. Should we hit North America? Or we'll do a similar thing where we run through the bracket, which means as much as we started with Chrissy for EMEA, there's also some starting and some explaining to do, I think, from Hunter on this one. So first game obviously was this Nightmare SSG, and I remember hearing very reliably that Nightmare, it would be a choking problem. The lights would be too bright. The backline would fall over.
You actually need to stop saying that in the future. Like, don't never call anyone a joker again, because it's actually been so.
It's like, projection.
Yeah, yeah. That has to change above all else.
All right, so I'll modify the spin before anything else, because that feels like probably the most important thing going forward. Did you have a question, or you want me to just get stuck right into it?
Just get stuck in, mate.
From brightness of lights.
From you.
Yeah, all right, I'll get spinning. I don't know, it's definitely one of the more unexpected losses of the career, to be honest. Like, we were really confident going into that week. Like, we were really happy with our results all week long. And it felt like we had a pretty good idea of what they were going to do and how we were going to approach it to win it. Throughout, like, the entire week, we scrimmed, heaps of the top North American teams. Like, we scrimmed heaps of Geekay and heaps of Liquid. And we got so much practice in these different like Lucio, Kiri, Orisa matchups. Like we got heaps of mirrors of Lucio, Kiri, Orisa. And it was like, we really felt that like, shit, this is our best comp. Like we are doing really, really well on this. We're playing basically all of the characters that we're best at. Like this is pretty much as good as we can do compositionally, and we're winning the mirrors versus the teams where, you know, in the previous weeks, pre-tracer buff and, you know, pre us getting on low ping and yada 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 and just grinding it out for a while, our results were poor. Now we have shifted into a definitive, like we are pretty much winning or going even in all of our scrims all the time rather than losing every scrim. So I think throughout the week we were like pretty happy with the comps that we'd approached. And, you know, I think a lot of people are sort of like, what, you know, why didn't we play Monkey? The problem is that like Monkey has only gotten harder and harder and harder throughout all of stage 2. Like if you watch Korea, you saw a little bit of Monkey at the start, you know, you saw a bunch of handshakes with Winston and stuff like that. And if you see Ilios or you see Dorado and Gibraltar, with the correct ban scenario, you see Winston as well. But outside of a couple of scenarios, I think Winston is really, really hard now. And like with them banning out Tracer, rather with them buffing Tracer as well and making the heal cut passive even more punishing, Winston only got more difficult after the patch. But yeah, we sort of just practiced a variety of like different Orisa variant comps and like a little bit of Winston / Hazard for when particular ban scenarios came through. But when we were actually in the match, it was sort of just like, we used our Hazard ban on map 1. We thought, you know, this team is going to play Hazard or Orisa. And if we can take an Orisa matchup with them, we're really happy with that. But by virtue of using the Hazard ban on map 1 to make it an Orisa matchup, which was what we believed was going to be the best thing for us to do, we could no longer ban Hazard on any other map. So the only place that we could play Winston from there on out was Dorado. But we couldn't pick Dorado anymore. Because if we picked Dorado and we couldn't ban Hazard, they would be able to play Freya and Hazard on Dorado. And they could ban whatever the fuck they wanted. We would have to protect tank or we couldn't play Winston. So they didn't need to touch the tank role. And they could just ban out Ana and we'd have to play Lucia Kiri into Hazard Freya on Dorado. And that is impossible. That is just way too hard now that Freya's in the game. So we sort of just wound up in a situation after our theory of we are better at Orisa, this is our best comp, this is what we've been winning on all week, didn't really play. That was our entire plan because we're not going to take a Hazard mirror versus Painkiller, who's, you know, probably the best Hazard in North America. And we can't pivot to Winston if we've already used the ban scenario for it early on because we wanted to take the Orisa matchup. So we sort of just wind up in a situation where if we do not play better, we will lose. And my God, we did not play better. Like...
That's the issue there.
Yeah, that's honestly where you went wrong. Just played a little bit better, you know?
It's a shame because like we actually had different stuff prepared, you know? Like we were ready to play heroes like Sim on circuit. Like we were going to do different things, but then it just didn't really come up, you know? It was like, shit. We're going to be taken to circuit for one of their picks, so we shouldn't use ours on it. Like we're down however many maps, but like we're gonna have to get there eventually, right? Like for every map we lose, we're just gonna have to make up for one of these later in the series. And the biggest momentum switch, the biggest like matchup changer, was an Escort pick that wasn't possible after map 1 because we wanted to take an Orisa mirror, so we banned Hazard there. We basically had the theory of like, you know, on map 1 we're gonna ban one of Freya or Hazard, and because they banned Surgeon, we had to do the Hazard option. I think there was another option there for us where we could have banned out Baptiste and kept the Hazard ban open, but we just felt that Baptiste is like really easy to get on Koth, you know, like even on downtown, like if he plays on the top of the main choke, then he's too far away from the fight and we just win through the left. Like I don't really think that the Bap was a problem at all. Like they played Bap and straight away like Akiri wide swung and won us the game by shooting them in the head. We just shit all over the sheets and then spread the sheets all over the walls and then over ourselves too, and then rolled around in it for a while and then suddenly 3 maps were gone. But yeah, I think pretty dreadful match day performance overall. Something to do with the level of brightness in the lights, I think.
Yeah.
Because it did feel like that was well and truly our series to win. I didn't really think that Nightmare was like that good, so to speak. And, you know, like watching the matches in the next day was honestly just as crushing as watching the matches on the actual game day because they just got pooed on by Geekay right after. And it was like we got 3-0'd by that. And then they proceeded to just get absolutely dumpstered by Geekay as well. Or was it Team Liquid? I think it was Geekay.
It was
Yeah, I
Geekay,
think it was.
Yeah, because Geekay sent to lowers.
Were your scrim results then? You said you were playing like a lot of Liquid, a lot of Geekay. your games against them in scrims were way closer, I guess, than what we saw in Geekay versus Nightmare in that lower bracket then.
Well, it wasn't just closer. We didn't lose a scrim all week, I don't think. Like the worst scrim result we had for the entire week in North America was an even scrim versus Team Liquid. Like that was the worst we had for the entire week. Like it was a real departure from our scrim results for the week, I must say, because we literally won.
You're on a different planet.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think we won 80% of our scrims for the week, and we drew one. You know, like a draw in North America was like our worst result for the week, and it was like shit. Like we're really good for this. You know, we feel really good right now. And like throughout the week, we played heaps of variety, in that we played a bit of Malga, we played a bit of Queen. Like America was on like a very different pill that week to EMEA. I feel like I think EMEA was like, just keep fucking playing Symmetra, really. But NA was on like a whole nother wave where like Geekay was spamming Malga for the whole week, which obviously made it easier to beat Geekay in the scrims, to be fair. And Liquid, like they were playing like their usual variety where they would try to do like a little bit of double flex dive on the escort maps, and they would play Orisa on hybrids and things like that. But we basically got practice into like a huge variety of comps and a huge variety of matchups. But the Orisa mirror was probably the most regularly reoccurring thing. Like playing an Orisa mirror where it's like we're on Lucio Kiri, enemy team is on Orisa, we're on Orisa, enemy team is on Hazard, and that was basically just what we practiced all throughout the week. So like really didn't feel like we had a lack of preparation or a lack of experience against the comp that we faced on the day. Just something about what was being spread all across the sheets on match day seemed to be more of the issue.
Gabby.
It wasn't Gabby, that was it. It was 3-0.
They're the worst 3-0s where after every map you're like, yeah, actually, like it's winnable, you know. So you don't make any adjustments, and then you keep doing it to the point where you just lost the same match 3 times in a row. But like, yeah,
it's just like
it looks bad.
It's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that, to be honest, like I think the best thing that I possibly could have done to change the outcome of the series would have been to not ban Hazard on map 1. Like retrospectively, not ban Hazard on map 1, because overall, like losing map 1 and then picking Dorado, banning Hazard, playing Winston, that's like a better scenario for us. You know, like Painkiller is not like an absolute demon on the Diva, so like forcing it into that matchup for map 2 is fine, but the problem with that, and this is a problem that I suppose my team had with my banning theory, like in the previous weeks, and why I adjusted it to this way for the final match, is I was doing too much saving the best bans for like particular scenarios, if that makes sense. Whereas here, we just thought, okay, they want to play Hazard, so let's just ban Hazard on map 1, give ourselves the absolute best chance of winning map 1. You know, the absolute best chance of winning map 1. But if we lose map 1, we're probably in a worse situation for our map 2 losers pick, if that makes sense, you know? So they get the map 1 pick, but you need to, you know, in your tennis theory, you need to win a map somewhere in there, right? So trying to win map 1 is, you know, the most reasonable thing to do by using one of your most valuable bans then and there. But yeah, I think by virtue of using a Hazard ban on map 1, I could no longer pick Dorado. I could no longer pick any map where Winston could be playable, because again, like it's just the way it is. You just can't play Winston without a ban to enable it to protect tank and fucking take them off Hazard at the same time. So I think if I hadn't banned Hazard on map 1, if I'd gone and banned out Baptiste instead, then even if we'd lost that map 1, we could have won a Dorado with a Hazard ban, and that would have been a big momentum shift, I think. I really think that the momentum was just as much of a killer as anything else. I think we went down swinging in the 0-3 in that, you know, the final map was like, you know, final fight margin, right? Like we lose the lead in the final fucking 20 seconds of the map or something like that. So it's not like we got like mentally crushed and lost that way. But if we win a map, the enemy team may perform worse on the next map. You know, then their nerves may start to show and their, you know, potential lack of confidence. But if they just win map after map after map, they really have nothing to doubt, right? Like there's no doubts that are going to show. But yeah, shocking.
Was there ever like a Saravasa play ball or something on the cards or anything like that?
No,
or we just been playing Orisa there the whole time.
We didn't like to play that really. Really, that wasn't one of our plans at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just thinking more like alternative curveballs without the Hazard ban.
Yeah, just wasn't one of the plays for us really. It wasn't really like a strength that we felt like we wanted to lean into. It's something that like Team Liquid would uniquely do in North America, and it just looked like something that was quite hard. And because Team Liquid would always do it, like everyone got practice against it a little bit because Liquid was always spamming it. So it's like Liquid's better than us at doing this. This isn't really our thing. If we run this, like, you know, they're running like ball and double flex and all this stuff, and this just like isn't really for us, you know. So we didn't really want to go down that path. But yeah, end of the day, should have gone down some sort of different path because 0-3 ain't really the play, is it now?
Yeah, it's really hard to defend a 0-3.
Yeah,
Which,
I'd say
to be fair, you haven't really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just don't really know what to say, like, post-match, to be honest. It's not, you know, like, I see where I could have made some changes in, like, the drafting side of things, to be honest. And, you know, we could have played Sim. We could have played Sim for the whole week, you know? That would have been a good solution, is to play what EMEA was playing. It was obviously better. That is probably not a terrible shout. But, like, come the match day with our weaker scrims leading into it and the way that we ran it, it felt like, you know, we had good ideas, and a lot of the issues that arose in the match were things that we had talked about, like things that we had discussed. But it's like, it's difficult to solve these things in the moment, you know? Like we lose Busan downtown to thinking that they used an ult that they didn't, pushing in when we think they don't have an ult, and killing ourselves to the ult that they actually do have all along, which is like, how do you fix that? You know, like somebody has to fucking identify that when we said they used this ult, well, no, they didn't. I don't think they did. You know, like that's a hard problem to fix. And then next turn we just push in and fucking just shit the sheets completely. You know, like I'm not sure what to say for some of these scenes. You know, like they're not novel scenes. It's not like stuff that hasn't been talked about before. You know, take a bit of a neutral fight before we dump all of our ults on their faces. Stuff like that. You know, do the basic fight before. But sometimes in the throes of passion or the throes of an elimination game, people will abandon their fundamentals. I'm sure everybody here has experienced that at some point, but you know, I really hate to experience that from the spectator slot, I'll tell you. Shouldn't happen though. Really shouldn't happen.
It's like, I remember, I mean, it happened a few times when we were watching TU games this season as well, where you sort of go from the like, this is a bit scarier than they want it to be, to, oh my God, they're actually fucking cooked. And it goes from like, it hits that tipping point from funny to sad, you know? And it's like, I've experienced that many times with TU, but it felt like you guys were always just, but yeah, didn't expect it at all really out from SSG.
Neither, to be fair, neither. It's one of those, you know, like I remember asking, not to bring it back to EMEA after we've had an hour and a half long segment on EU, but I remember asking Chrissy, like, I think after their match was just over or something, it's like, why on earth did their team fight here on Suravasa? You know, like I remember they went down 0-99 on the first point of Suravasa, and then they retook, and they actually retook real lean, and they had a bunch of ults in the tank. And it was just real basic play from here on out, where it's like you've got double flex support, you've got a Winston comp, you've got to pull them in towards the point, and then fuck them when they have to come and touch the point. Like there's no other way to do it. You know, you're playing double flex, you're playing Winston, you're down 0-99. If you fight them forward, at best, you're going to wipe them and C9 the point when their tracer or someone goes to the objective and flips the point from you. But more likely, you're not going to have enough angles to set up properly, and you're just going to fucking lose the fight fighting forward. And for some reason, they fight forward at 25, 30%. They don't have the angles. They just lose the fight. And it's like, why have they done this? And it's like, well, it's probably not because Christopher pulled up a top down and told them that they should fight in their spawn at 30%, or because that's fucking stupid. But sometimes people in high pressure matches will just make calls, and those calls will sometimes just be fucking stupid. And you can argue that, you know, maybe it is the responsibility of the coach to repeatedly reinforce into somebody that they should not do this. But as we discovered in the hour and a half of EMEA, sometimes people can be a little bit stubborn or a little bit difficult to impress certain bits of information upon. So, yeah, it's a little bit difficult to resolve those issues at times, because and that's all coaching is, really, just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again until eventually it fucking sticks into somebody's brain.
Sometimes the nature of it, right? It's a performance industry. So like, I'm sure if you like VOD review with any of the players in any of the teams in these top 8 teams, they can probably tell you what we should have done differently, or what mistake they made. But it all comes down to what you actually do in the moment on the day.
Yeah, it's sort of like,
what separates the players.
It's like we lost Hollywood in our match, right? And I remember like it felt like fucking Groundhog Day because in the previous week we just lost to Geekay on Dorado, and it was the exact same scenario as Geekay on Dorado, where it's like, hey, we're in the payload phase of the map. They have a comp that has like pretty good poke, but they have really bad ability to drop and touch the card. So all we need to do is shoot the card here. And in both of the fucking scenes, you know, our team in the game has said, get an angle to shoot the card, but we just don't fucking do it. Like somebody says the solution in game, but then we just don't actually connect all of the dots required for all 5 players to do their job and actually play for the win condition. And it's like, if we talk about it before the match and then if we talk about what the solution is before the match and then we say it in the game and then we say it after the game when we've lost, and then we come into that exact same scenario a week later in another match and we say it in the game again, having talked about it in the game, reviewed it before the game, reviewed it after the game, and we do the same fucking thing again, it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're going to need to we're going to have to fucking fill this sponge up with a syringe or something because like it just keeps sinking through. It's a sieve. I don't know. That shit can be quite frustrating, I must admit.
Seems as well then, all last week when we were having this big debate about TU versus Nightmare, the debate was really actually between TU and SSG.
No, we still would have beat Nightmare, mate. We still would have had Nightmare. It doesn't change anything. That's a fact, though.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, Chrissy, do you remember that scrim that we had against each other recently? But to be fair, I mean, we won every scrim. It was just the match that we couldn't pull out. So, you know, that scrim doesn't.
I mean, yeah, if you listened to, I mean, you DM'd me during the scrim. You saw what was happening after one round of cough. Everyone on my team just stopped like moving their keyboards. Like that was a really mental boom. One of the problems we had this season was Heesung especially, he didn't want to scrim against Peps or Gen.G because they were too shit. He didn't want to scrim against TM because they were always late. He couldn't scrim against NA because it was too much adversity. You can't scrim against Alcad because they don't scrim. So it was actually really difficult to find a scrim that would have kept everyone happy, you know? And that SSG scrim, that just, NA scrim, I don't want to play. I'm not playing. So, okay, no problem. Early GGs. I was fitting this. How many in London across our 3 years, Landon and SSG? How many early GGs did we call? Genuinely, how many? I swear it's actually 0.
I mean,
nowhere weak.
Early, like 15, 20 minutes, maybe. Like maybe we did like a 5 mapper at one point.
I swear there was one against Paris where we were just like, we'll do the 6 and we're done.
Yeah.
As in, like normally we would keep playing for 2 hours, but there were definitely ones against Paris.
Yeah, but to you, I mean, maybe in EU in general, I mean, it was all the fucking time. Especially these last few weeks, every scrim was just like, yeah, let's just fucking call it, you know? Like we had a 1 map scrim against Gen.G the other day because we got a DM about we had a DM about some stuff behind the scenes that just really like we just our morale was just like, I'm not fucking scrimming. So, so many of those this season. But the SSG scrim was about as bad as it got. Like we were actually just autopiloting, holding W, dying, just hoping for the scrim to be called. I mean, that was Gabby though.
1 mapper is pretty impressive as far as blocks go.
Mm-hmm. That's a new record.
Rest of the NA bracket wasn't actually super interesting because we got a Geekay Team Liquid. We talked about Alcad maybe being a bit experimental, different solutions of their upper bracket. Geekay really took the piss with their level experiment in terms of the upper bracket. Lots of Malga, lots of Moira. Moira didn't work, Hazard didn't work. And they kind of got beaten pretty convincingly by Team Liquid. Then they go to the lower bracket. They pretty convincingly dismiss Nightmare. And then we get to the grand final, and all of a sudden it feels like Geekay had thrown out a lot of the experimental stuff that didn't work in the upper bracket. And then we got like probably really up there with game of the weekend in terms of this one. I mean, there was lots of good games, but this one actually went all the way. Again, it felt like Geekay went back to their bread and butter in terms of BAP Lifeweaver, which still caused Team Liquid problems. And really a lot of Team Liquid success actually came on maps like Ilios, where they could just play dive, maps like Suravasa, where they could play infected on ball, and this seemed to be Team Liquid's big way through. So what do we make of this series in terms of like was it just the fact that Team Liquid could only win their niche maps that was the real problem? They could never win in like, I guess what would be called like closer to the meta?
To be honest, I think that like Geekay were just hard taking the piss for the entire week. Like they were on some sort of wave where they were like fully convinced that like Malga and Moira were like the most broken characters in the world. And they were just playing it like every fucking scrim. And it was like, I think they did wind up like edging into better results with it. You know, it's like they kept fucking playing it. And like we would just try a different solution into it every time. You know, play a bit of Queen, play a bit of Orisa, whatever. Sometimes, you know, like sometimes they'd see like a little, like some glimpses of hope with it, but it just felt like there's no way that that's a good answer. You know, like there's no way that this comp is this good. Like it just doesn't feel that great. You know, feels like there's heaps of really good characters in the game, and like Malga Moira ain't it. So I feel like they played that for the entire week, and they were like all as a team really bought into like the Gultech theory that it was just it, and it just obviously fucking wasn't it. And then they played it, and they didn't do very well, and then they just pivoted to what they're already good at and what people always struggle with, and same old happened. Really, like the Liquid match, yeah, they played like all the stuff they're good at, you know, like take it to a dive map, let Infected play ball, you're going to see some success. But like you could see that like Liquid was still having like such a hard time into the Bap Weaver. Like we're watching like the replays from the map 7 and just thinking like, holy fuck, like this looks hopeless for Liquid just because of the way that they're going about it. Like this can't be right. I was really confused by what was happening on the map 7, to be honest, from Liquid's side. I don't know if it was I'm actually like banned from talking about the brightness of lights, but I don't know if it was a lights too bright situation or what.
Probably was, mate. Probably was.
Yeah. I just remember looking at City Center, the circle map, and just being like, what the fuck? Like they're playing Cass here, and Tree is just sitting in the back of main for 100% of a round. Like what could you possibly, you've got this fucking double flex roster where it's like you could be running a bit of Sombra Tracer at a bare minimum, you could be having a Sojourn running around the map trying your hardest to win, but you're playing against Hazard, Bap, Weaver, Cass, and you're just standing at the back of main doing fucking nothing. You know, like good luck beating Bap, Weaver, Cass, Hazard without flanking all over the place and making it impossible for their backline. But like playing Cass into that and not being able to flank at all and just sitting in main, like no hope whatsoever. And impossible to flank fast when a Hazard can just fly on you, and their Cass, like Lethal, is just walking around the map playing fucking Kovacs, and they're getting gripped away to safety at any given moment. So it's like, I don't know. I would have thought that by map 7 there would have been a bit of like a stylistic adjustment and a solution to that, but you know, Liquid just played it really safe at the end, and that didn't seem good at all.
Well, that's for one thing that it keeps coming back to, right? Like, actually, you look at the other maps where we can play these comps, and even like, was it the New Junk City where they played Malga into Orisa or something? And they actually smashed that New Junk City as well, Team Liquid. So it feels like it really just, when the Bap Lifeweaver has some viability on the map, it's where they fall apart. It's what we were saying earlier is obviously like the D.Va field, like a D.Va Sim feels like the most powerful solution. But I think it was in NA, was it really only Geekay that played for Sim in any of the meaningful matches?
I mean, there's like this other question mark where it's like, for some reason, Liquid decided that like their Sim specialist would be a Korean guy with bad English that isn't very good at Sim, you know? Like, I just really, really could not understand that one, you know? Like, anytime you scrim Liquid, like, there'd always be like a little celebration where it's like, oh, sweet, they gave us a map win, you know? Like, no matter how much you were getting clapped out in a block, like, you'd always get your map win in when they sub in Knife. So it's like, I really don't know why they were doing that, in terms of just like constantly trying to force the issue of like, we've got Tree Zero, we've got all the flexibility in the world, and then we're gonna put Knife on Sim. But it's like, Sim requires good communication. Sim requires extremely good communication. If you're putting someone that you benched after stage 1 because his communication issues were so great on Sim, you've got a fundamental misunderstanding of how Sim works. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Checkmate can get away with being the best damn Sim in the world, or, you know, at least competing with Yubi for the top slot, because Checkmate has exceptional English, which it is known that Knife doesn't have. So I think that Liquid, they'd cottoned on to the fact that Sim was a bit of all right. They were just forcing themselves into a situation where it's like, Knife has to be the Sim player. Like, that can't be right, you know? Like, you're not going to be able to make the plays that you need to make to play high level Sim if you have somebody that doesn't speak the language. I remember on Atlanta in 21, like back when Jesus was a boy, Edison was obviously better at Sim than Kai, in the sense that Edison could walk around the map and get a fully torque beam and kill everyone. but he couldn't fucking understand what the team was saying to him about what wanted to happen. You know, Gator would be in the middle of a clutch fight screaming at him about where he wanted the TP, and Edison wouldn't understand a fucking word of it, and he'd put the TP down on the enemy Ryan's head and kill the entire team. And it was like, all right, Kai, you might not be quite as flashy on the Symmetra. You might not be quite as good at getting fully talked and killing everyone without dying. But by God, you can actually understand the English language when everyone's screaming and going crazy. And like, it feels like that's a massive misstep from the staff of Team Liquid, especially considering the fact that Danny was on fucking 2021 Atlanta and saw the issues between like Eddie and Kai and English language comprehension on Symmetra, to then go ahead and put somebody that has bad English language skills on Sim feels like a slight misstep, to be honest. I would have thought that the lesson may have been learned somewhere in there. But what do I know? I came fourth.
I do think their original intention was to have Knife play May. And he's looked a bit better on that. And again, like less stress on his language. But obviously, Geekay lost the upper bracket. Admittedly, they were doing Malgam Moira at the time on Circuit Royale. So maybe any hero would have been fine with any combination of players. But Geekay banned the May the second time round when Circuit Royale came up, which I think then forced in a situation when they had to play the Sim comp. And then it's just like a better look for Geekay.
They were doing the knife sim and scrims though. Like it wasn't just doing anything. I don't.
I mean, I think you are right in principle. That that's how they are using knife. I just think there was also like I guess a lessons learned from Geekay as well in terms of forcing them into that situation.
Yeah, I just think ultimately it's like you've got Transera. I can understand wanting to like respect Knife as a player and not just kill his career, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you're doing the guy a favor by continually paying the salary. Like, there's a at 1 hour 53 minutes into the recording Alpha for you. There's two of them now that I said there.
I'll just throw one more in there.
If we put them all together, it's easier for Alpha. So if anyone needs to
edit them
get
out.
your out now, yeah.
You got anything for us, Landon? You can spit one real quick.
I'll pass, mate. You guys got
that.
We've got a good Christian boy over here.
my family home.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe if you were in a different country, but not here. All right.
Maybe.
Either way, I think that they're doing the guy quite a favor by picking up somebody like Zera, who, you know, kind of demonstrated the fact that he really does have that dog in him to play just about everything anyway, and then actually not cutting Knife and just continuing to pay his salary for the year. So at that point, it's like, you know what? Enjoy the wage thieving for the year. You don't have to play, you know, like you don't have to make the guy work. You can actually just put all of your time into the two Westerners that mean that you can be a full English language roster for the entire year with all the talent required to win. But the way that they keep trying to like incorporate Knife in these different ways, like they would always do this thing throughout the stage as well, where they would go to a map like Dorado or Gibraltar and they would ban Tracer, put Knife in, and have Knife playing the Sombra. And it's like, Knife's not that good at Sombra either, you know? Like, I don't think that Knife is outrageously good at Sombra. It didn't feel like he was just dominating presence. So it's like, if he's not head and shoulders above people at something, why even bother? What's the point, you know? Just play two players forever and never have a situation where you can be exploited with your lineup.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against, really, because you know, like our first experience. Remember, like Landon will remember Knife's debut season in Overwatch League, and all the talk was how good this guy was on Tracer, and then he showed a bit that he could play hit scan as well, and that really felt like his strengths. At no point really in his history has he been the Mason guy.
I mean, he was the stickiest Tracer when he came in. That guy did not miss a pulse bomb. So sticky.
He was so sticky. Just not very understandy with the English language.
Can we need to figure out the best way to formulate the segments, but can we talk about like we need to talk about the being nice segment of the week, but there's like, I feel like there's two sections. There's one which is like the unnecessary and very offensive targeted harassment of Uncoachable, which is just not on, guys. You need to be nicer to us. And then there's also like I guess, I don't know if it's like it was Cuffer or someone like Zera and Cuffer, that tweet, and then maybe that sentiment. I feel like we need to talk about both. Maybe we keep our defense for client of the week as always, but I don't know. Do we have the tweet? Did it get taken down? Is it still real?
Yeah, I got a link to the Lep tweet and then the Zera tweet, and then I also took Lane's
Zera
tweet,
now
which
and
proceeded all over them.
Even though we spread hate, I know you're watching because that's how it works, you know. Like you don't want us to do nasty things, but you'll still be watching. We'll get to you at the end, okay, mate? So you just sit tight for a second.
That's my boy.
I mean, I think we can just get all stuck into it now. To be honest, like if we're gonna do a segment, I think we might as well get all into it. Like we don't need to save anything for Client of the Week. That segment's wank anyway.
Huh? I mean, that's actually our best
for his own nomination for Client of the Week here.
You know, last week it was our episode and we took us like 7 years to do when we had no clients. In this 1 week, we have like 17 clients this week. It's actually insane. This has been a client week. Okay, so yeah, then bring up the tweet again if the technology exists.
So this was after the grand finals. Yeah. Obviously, Geekay are very happy, second win in a row, and they also did what. You know, I think Hunter maybe made this point of the last podcast. If you are one of the top teams in North America and then you take the best player off a winning team and add it to your team, the expected power level shift should be pretty severe. So to lose again to that team after taking what everyone would probably agree is their best player, lots of reasons to celebrate and take the piss if you are on the Geekay side of this one. And then they all proceed to do exactly that.
So the first thing is I originally assumed that this was a joke, but is this serious?
Oh, I promise you this is serious.
What
you're forgetting is that you're dealing with Americans, Chris.
Fucking Americans. Dude.
Yeah, we are in fact dealing with a very sensitive group of people when it comes to being shit talked. So yeah, it's all about slinging shit and never about actually receiving it in any capacity, you know? Not to suggest that Zero is much of a shit slinger, to be honest. I think Zero, he comes from a generation of gamers where everybody is just so fucking nice, you know? Like there's actually, you are starved for competitive personality in that generation because everybody is just a little bit too nice to each other, you know? Unless they're bullying infected, in which case it's okay because he's weak and easy to bully, but that's beside the point. I really do think that this is 100% serious, and it's such.
This is crazy because I think Will did a tweet too, right? That you did like a thing about it, but yeah, I swear this like what Cover said. This is like 0.5% toxic. Like there's like I feel like I didn't even see anything from the GK guys that was even remotely trash talk. It was so soft, you know? Like if this is what people are like worried about is too far, man, it's actually fucking cooked, by the way. Like just enjoy Zero personalities, you know?
I think it was like I feel like it's not even though it's replying to Kufa, I feel like it's not specifically about it's like replying to all of them, you know, because I think Lethal tweeted as well. Lethal said something on the post game interview and stuff, all sort of, you know, the same punchline, right? Who are you signing next, etc. But I don't know, all seems fair game, right? Like
of course, dude. Like if you would be so mad if they stole your best player after winning, and then you're not even allowed to mention it after you beat them again. It's fucking crazy. Like maybe it's because GK. There's two reasons why they're winning. It's like they're European, which means that's why they're winning, and that's why they actually have a little bit of fun, you know, because they're not fucking soy boy Americans or whatever it is that they're feeding you guys over there. But
I don't know. I never live here.
I couldn't believe that what they tweeted was like. I thought fucking hell, like you would have hated to see like trash talk in other games, you know. And it's like, it's so cooked, you know? Like, and I hate this idea. I hate this idea that it's just, this will just spread love, be nice. And it's like, does no one remember the Overwatch League? Does no one remember that we had the most sanitized product in human history where Blizzard were fining people for like the middle finger or for sex big dick? Those were too far. Did we love the personalities in the Overwatch League? Like, no, like go to any real esport and you have people like saying so much more worse things and having fun with it. Like, I don't think Kufa hates Zera, you know? Like, I don't think there is like this fucking like hatred. It's just, I mean, this isn't even like good trash talk from Kufa, to be honest. It's fucking tame. He should go harder if he wants to, like, if we're being serious. Like, this is the idea that this is what's going to save Overwatch is just being more nicer. Let's build in the esport by just being nice. Yeah, you're just cooked. You don't even remember history. Like, you don't even remember why we're in OWCS and not Overwatch League in the first place, you know?
I just think it's so like incredibly strange that people are involved in like a high level competition and they're going to get all butthurt about trash talk, you know, like trash talk is supposed to be a part of the game. You know, you can get into your opponent's heads. You can gloat about your victories. You can say whatever the fuck you want, you know, like you're allowed to have
free
fun
will
with it and make it entertaining. Yeah. Free will. And you can make it entertaining for people to watch from the outside looking in. Like there is nothing more boring than a match ending, a big high stakes match ending, and everyone just being like, oh, GG's, you played real well today. GG's, the better team won today. Like, people want some fucking drama. People want some fun. And, you know, from a competitor's standpoint, trash talking is fun. Trash talking is competitively advantageous if it affects your opponent. Stop being such a fucking pussy and embrace the sport. Using sport pretty liberally here. You know, we're playing video games after all. But genuinely, just don't be a fucking pussy. Like, you're sitting behind this screen. It could be so much worse.
Like, these Americans would hate some of the EU scrims we've had this year, I'd tell you. Like, some of the fucking, like TU versus TM scrims we've had are, like, just
I mean, even you guys yap so much. Like, we'd scrim you guys and, like we could have beaten you last week and like stage one, you just didn't care. Like, you would still just be typing away. Like,
yeah. But it's like, you don't hate me because of it. It's
of course.
It's just part of the fucking game, you know?
Or like Ints versus SSG last year was so bad. It was
so
bad.
Some of those were horrendous. Like, actually probably crossing a few fucking lines in match time with how bad we were talking to each other.
I remember streaming one of those scrims, and everyone was going in. Chase wasn't even in the map, and everyone was just going in on Chase. And I was like, this actually just feels like it's just an argument now. It's now just descended into a full-on row.
You remember I think it was Junkertown, you remember?
Yeah, Junkertown's second attack. Junkertown's second attack, I remember.
I mean, everyone just left their fucking, like, keyboards to just
hit players standing still,
like,
just
Harry
typing.
would type, oh, you're like fucking, like, you weigh like 20 pounds, bro, shut the fuck up, you know? And it was like, it was so much worse than, who are you gonna poach next? GG's. But none of us care, you know? Like, that's actually just, I don't know, like, that's just,
just having fun,
that's
man.
actually how human beings fucking talk to each other. No, you just have, like, a little bit of fun. You're like, I don't know. Or if all of my friendships in real life, like, how much shit do we talk, even just amongst the three of us? We are fucking, we talk so much shit to each other, but that's fucking normal. That's what actually human beings do. Not these, like, AI relationships. That's like, oh, there's so much love for you, brother. Like that. Fuck off, honestly. Man.
Yeah, I mean, even like us and team, are always playing each other. There's always trash talk going on in scrims or matches, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, they beat us sometimes, we beat them sometimes. It's just how it is.
Well, I think that's how, like, most
friends, Landon.
Well, most that's like
boring.
I feel like that's how most sports exist, though, when there is that element of, like, when the competition's on, anything goes, you know, say whatever you want, try and get the upper hand, etc. And then at the end of it, it's all like water under the bridge, you know? Nobody actually has any sort of long-standing beef or grudge. I mean, if there is, that's probably pretty entertaining as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
but it can also exist. I think you can exist in both worlds. We can have all the shit talk.
I mean, UFC, and they will do press conferences, and he's like, I am going to kill you and then kill your family, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then they'll just hug it out, like, after he's like, it's insane the difference between the UFC, they actually cross the line, you know? Like, okay, esports, we probably shouldn't go that far. Like, they really, really, really take the piss. But yeah, they just realize it's part of the fucking game, you know? Like, and that's it. And it sells fights, you know? And I'm not saying that we need to get, like, awkward and go Conor McGregor on this, because it's going to feel fabricated. But for me, I just hate the idea, like, someone like Cuffer, who actually has a personality. When he came on the podcast, he was fun, talks a bit of shit. Like, he does all the stuff at LAN where he's like fucking eyeing up lip or whatever it is, you know? Anyone that tries to shun that type of behavior, you're actually making the esport worse. I promise you, you're making it worse, and you're being a baby at the same time. Like, the real world is going to hit you like a fucking truck if you can't handle who you're going to poach next. GG's. Like, when you have to get a fucking real job, fuck me, is it going to be hard, you know?
I think as well, like, from, like, say, Zero's point of view, it's not that everyone has to be like this, you know? Because I think if it's not your personality, it will just feel really forced and awkward. You know, like, if Zero doesn't want to shit talk, completely fine. But then that doesn't mean you can't take it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that doesn't mean you get to, like, tell other people when they've gone too far or anything like this, you know? And if you want to have that, like, I guess there's, like, a story there or something, you know? Zero does very much have as, like, the, what would you call him? Like, the all-American boy in terms of, like, the promised one from America, beats Crazy Raccoon, clean cut, all of this, you know? Like, that's a really fine. If that's the personality, that's his personality, you know? It's not a bad thing either, but I think there's like all this idea that things can't be said or it shouldn't be said.
Yeah, that's it. You're right.
Just,
like you can do whatever you want. If you want to be nice, nasty, boring, whatever, but please try not to police people having fun. Like, fucking hell, we did that in Overwatch League. We really policed that shit in Overwatch League, unless you were Korean. And then that was, I mean, yeah. And there was so many people in Overwatch League, you need to understand, that had significant personalities which couldn't get it out because they were afraid of the words police. So, you know, let's not do that again, you know? And by the way, even then we need to remember the context. What Geekay is saying is so far from the line, it's insane. Like,
So
they're not
mild.
even remotely close to crossing it, you know? Like, not even close.
I mean, Zero just wants people to be nice to him after he loses the game, even though he left his team for another team, you know? Like, you leave your team and then you lose to the team that you left, you quite literally have "clown me" written on your forehead for the week, you know? Like, that's just the way that it works. That's just life, mate, you know? You can't start sobbing in the public forum and be like, oh, why can't we all just get along? It's like, you shut the fuck up, bro. Like
imagine
just take
you're
the
a
clowns that
coach.
you deserved.
Imagine you're a coach and you said, we're going to mirror the Koreans and beat them on dive, and you don't qualify to a single LAN. Imagine if I then came out and tweeted, can we just be nice, guys? Like, what is this? Like, why are you making AI videos about me? Just be nice. Like, imagine I said that.
Imagine you're a coach and you said that Lep and Luke Minnow are the only thing standing between you and a LAN qualification slot. And then you get 3-0'd by Lep and Luke Minnow. I think the first thing that you should do in that situation is go to Twitter and start saying, please stop being so mean to me. What did I do to deserve this? Like, grow the fuck up. Like, you talk shit and then people talk shit back to you. That's life. Like, you don't always have to be nice, and people don't always have to be nice to you. And you know what? Sometimes people will come into your Twitter mentions and tell you to kill yourselves. But I guess, you know, their parlay didn't hit. That's life.
So should we get into the LEP section of it as well? It might have a bit of a reappearance later. But section. I imagine we might be same page on this, but the sentiment here is the fact that LEP atted us and tweeted us is completely fine. If anything, if some pundit says, I think these guys might be the weak link, and then they're absolutely not the weak link, they smash their series and they completely prove you wrong.
The weak link.
You know, you can make you can make some argument about maybe, you know, you only tweet when you win type thing.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit pussyish to wait.
But
do it before.
But I'm really fine.
I agree.
Really fine. Like, absolutely fair play. We thought you were the weak link and you came out. The bit where I think we all probably separate with saying fair play is when he starts saying all the stuff about, like, stop player hate, everything like this, blah, 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 blah. Because it misses loads of details, right? In terms of you know, there were plenty of times when I've been casting and covering all the games where I've been like, oh, Lep's actually going hard here. I remember once Unter joining me on the cast and me trying to convince him that Lep was playing like Charondas in these ball comps. Unter, it was a hard sell, but I promise you, that was the pitch I was making live on air in front of everyone, and I still believe it. But what then happens is he praising? Am I praising a player when they do well and criticizing when they do bad and just trying to, like, call it as I see it? Which I think is generally what we try and do, even if we exaggerate a bit. Or it's just like, it disregards the fact that there's been any sort of balance to the argument over a course of time, you know? It's just like, they said one bad thing about me, I wish they would stop saying all these bad things about me. And it's like...
Yeah. I think if you said to me, Uncoachable sends more criticism or more hate than any of the other content creators. I mean, not like Tomathan's like a nice guy, you know, he's blaming everyone every time they die, but it's funny, okay? I'm not going to Tomathan, you know? I think the idea that at least we don't also fucking hard glaze on this podcast too at the right timing feels pretty unfair, you know? Like, okay, maybe you think it's skewed one way or another, but mate, go back 9 months. If you're Donghack, he loves Uncoachable because we've done nothing but suck that guy's cock relentlessly before it was cool, you know? We must have done segments when Infected knocked me and Landon out. We were saying Infected is the next, like, he's next up, you know? Like, every single, like, time a player, like, I don't know, like, I feel like we're pretty fair. And I feel like there is this thing where imagine we were like a slightly... Go on, you go.
I mean, in the week before, maybe it was after we'd already recorded. I can't remember the timing on it, whether I'd said it before or after Lep's tweet. But it's like I was trying to convince the world that Chronic is the best fucking Freya in the world. That he's better than
That's
Quartz. And I forget whether this was before or after the Lep tweet. Yeah, it's just a ridiculous thing to say. But anyway, well, cut the video on that segment, Alpha. It's a ridiculous thing to say. But at the same time, I actually don't think it's a ridiculous thing to say. Guy's a beast. But, it's like people get glazed when they deserve it. When people play really fucking well, they get glazed. We spent the first 25 minutes of this podcast glazing Ziad, It may like hurt for you if, you are more the person that receives criticism and are described as a weak link rather than somebody that is described as the person that's fucking backpacking your team over the finish line. But that's just the nature of the game. And I don't think that this podcast is here to spread hate about a bunch of different players. We just talk about the competition. Yeah. And we just talk about it candidly from the perspective of, like competitors. And it feels like we never really have too much trouble getting a pro player from a top team onto the desk to talk about it. So I don't think that at the end of the day, I mean, Landon hasn't said anything for the better part of an hour, so maybe he does want to get the fuck out of here. But
I mean, that's my friend, man. I gotta be careful what I say. I lived with him for like 2 years.
And leave, then Landon, get the fuck out. I really like Lep. I really like Lep, and I like the fact that he added the podcast after he won.
Yeah,
because it's like we talked shit about him. I wish he'd added me. It was funny. I thought it was funny the way he's like at Chris, at CommanderX, at the Uncoachable podcast.
That's why X is nothing, by the way. I swear it was me shit talking him.
Unter was the biggest shit. Like, Chris was saying Nightmare are hopeless. They'd never qualify. Unter was talking about the lights.
Yeah, you guys don't know this, but Max gets away with fucking everything on this podcast, by the way.
The golden child, mate. He's the golden child.
Oh, Chris is always.
Shit Max spreads, but then when we get in trouble, it's never Max that gets the fucking gets rung up in the DM.
You know what it is? It's because he's Australian, So when he does it, he has the only other person who's managed to get like the Australian pass is Tomathan, because he just does it in a way that's entertaining enough that everyone just accepts it,
But like what I think is like, imagine there was an Overwatch podcast, okay, and we called it Unplayable, and we had like Rack Attack, Lep, Zera, and I don't know, like we need one more nice guy. I don't know who's the next up on the niceness, And every single episode they go,
Faith.
Oh, what a great player. Oh, what a great player. Like it's just going to be a game, and there's just going to be so many great players going in. Two things: you would get 4 viewers, okay. You can fact check that because there's a nicer podcast out there. And it doesn't fucking matter. Like, if you get glazed by the guys that glaze everyone, if you do nothing but spread love, who the fuck cares? Because it means nothing. If you're Ziad and we're talking about how big your fucking rockets are, that comes from something, because I spent 20 minutes telling you how shit Heesung was before, Like, it means that, like, something like, it's like, from someone that's willing to give criticism when they see it and praise it when they see it, means that it actually is worth something. If you only ever speak positively, then who fucking cares? Because you're going to say positive regardless. You could be shit, and then the Nice Guys podcast is going to say, oh, what a fantastic. So, yeah, it's fucked up. And then that's not even the worst part, which we can get to in a second.
Right. For what it's worth as well, from like the player perspective, because I know we've been like, we would talk on London as well, especially, like I'm sure we all remember the way we were like painted as the desk. Whenever we would win a game, it's always the other team playing bad and that type of thing, right? So I think it's actually from like, we'll keep using Lep just because he's the one who like, he's made himself the case study, I guess. But in reality, when we say things where we think the backline might be the weak link, like from Lep, if I was the coach of Nightmare, I would actually want Lep and Luke to be pissed off or not bite, like I don't want my players to agree with that and be like, yep, that's me, that's the weak link, fuck, I am so shit, am I, like Lep should disagree with us, he should have belief in himself and all of this and whatever play, so I think it's perfectly fine that he disagrees with us or doesn't agree with the criticism, but it's just what's the word, fair criticism is always fair.
Yeah, it's the same.
There has to be a space for it in this type of thing.
It's the same as what we talked about. It's like, the idea is you can come back at us, no fucking problem. And to be honest, it's like there is tons of, like, if Yaki was an uncoachable head, he has a lot of rights to hate us, Like, if I'm Casaurus, I'd probably fucking haters, you know, because every day we're mentioning his fucking documents and flaming every draft, you know, like I would get really fucking annoyed at that. But it's the same thing. Yeah, keep spewing hate, your Instagram reels or whatever the fuck he says. Like, it's the same as the police thing. Like, if you think what we do is just spreading hate and we should stop doing it, then again, you're just trying to, like, there's a reason we made this podcast. There's a reason, like, people watch it, you know, like, people are, like, hungry for, like, 1 ounce of personality, please, just a tiny bit. And it's the same thing. It's like I think deep down, everybody wants shit talk, but just not me, you know, like just shit talk other people, you know, that's how everybody is. Because I don't know if I guess we'll get onto it. If you go onto Lep's Twitter, what did he do 6 hours after he tells us to stop spewing hate? He posts a fucking video of Kellen getting punched in the face and saying he's a shit tank. Oh, nice love here, Lep. You're such a kind, wholesome citizen. Oh, what a fucking... I bet Kellen sees this video of him getting slapped silly and he's like, oh, Lepo, what a nice guy. Why is he spreading so much love? No, that's it, right, little buddy. You just don't want us to shit talk you. You just want to shit talk other people. That's how you want it. You want it one way. But it can't be like that, you know? Okay, I'm not going to... I could have kept going. I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to spew any more here.
You got any more?
I do, mate. I really do. But we'll leave it there for now.
Let's stop player hate, yeah?
Any thoughts?
Anything to add?
I was just checking.
All right. I mean, dude, trash talking is so much fun. Like, I remember, like all the matches against Ints at like last year were always so much fun because there's like weeks like going into it of trash talking scrims. You know, like every match like is super important. Like it's super high stakes. I think like if you have an ego, of course you're gonna want to trash talk some. You know, like it's just normal. Like 100%. Like everyone, like at least in Europe, like basically every single player like types in scrims, types in matches. Like it's like a full-on dogfight always.
Yeah, and it's why we shouldn't mute match chat on broadcast too, for what it's worth. That's a backwards decision. It's so much less fun.
I mean, they could have seen what I was typing in grand finals, mate. I don't know why it was hidden.
Yeah, honestly, it makes it so much better, but...
Like, I feel like we've done a version of this like conversation before, but I feel like for TLDR is if you look at a lot of other esports, right? From the big ones to the smaller ones, you know, from like the scale of CS all the way down to like Halo and Call of Duty and even fighting games, they're actually, what they have is the advantage of a lot of lands. And when you have a lot of lands, you're in the same room. So your shit talk or whatever can be, you know, Cuffer style against Crazy Raccoon. Just standing up, arms up in the air, cheering when you win, you know? You watch the Valorant Grand Finals. Every time they win a round, people are up out of their chair, you know, shouting and screaming. And there's this version of it that exists. Whereas if you do that in, say, the OWCS Grand Final, if Landon stood up out of his chair every time he won a fight, we'd have zero idea. We'd have no way to know Landon was standing up in his chair because we can't see him. So I think without like the player cams, and I think even in Overwatch League, we did a lot online, but the player cams carried quite hard, right? The classic, who's getting the best head, seeing players flip off, seeing players leave the room when they're pissed off, you know? Like, it's all part of it. But we miss so much of that now because of, I guess, like the limitations. But like, the easiest and cheapest and completely free way is just to turn on match chat, right? Like, we all watched FACEIT Playoffs. Well, maybe we didn't all watch. We watched some of FACEIT Playoffs, and I'm sure we saw some of the chat between basically Violet and the entirety of whatever team he was playing, right? Yeah.
It was a good introduction. Like, it's a good welcome. Like, this is what Europe's about, you know?
Yeah,
enjoy.
welcome, buddy.
I'm sure he felt
Violet
welcome.
gave it back. He wasn't thrown off. I mean, there was a point where he maybe looked like he was being thrown off a bit, but he like gave as good as he got, you know? Like, he dropped the who are you when people are typing to him, stuff like this.
He was throwing out some tactical crouches, solo on some people. You know, he fully joined the region. He's ready.
Yeah, he's been indoctrinated now. His citizenship is well and truly on its way. But yeah, I think we'll talk about FACEIT Playoffs quickly because I think there's not a huge amount. It's really going to be decided this upcoming weekend, which probably quite soon by the time this comes out. But like for promotion relegation from EMEA, Anomaly got the big win in the upper bracket to secure their spot over Team Vision being the Violet, the Troy team, etc. They're the other team that qualified as well. And if you want an example of a player leaving a team, joining another team, and then facing off against the other team, and you feel like the Zera rivalry with Geekay didn't quite do it for you, just you wait until Anomaly, which is Crocs' team, face off against Frosttails, which is the team that booted Crocs off the roster as they went into OWCS. Crocs is currently banned from chat in Overwatch, which is going to limit it, but I'm hoping he's unbanned by the time this happens. Because if you want to see an example of, like, what's the other end of the extreme, you know, from everyone being nice, that's what you'll see in that Frosttails game. Words will be had, and I think there's a lot of... Obviously, there's a lot on the line because it's promotion relegation, but I think there's a lot on the line for the players or like the individuals as well in terms of getting one over former teammates and stuff as well. And that's all going to be Saturday, Sunday, and that's obviously against One Dip versus 100 Gorillas and Frosttails. Same happened in North America, which similar situation. Yab got through, which is the AST team, which is Pirate's twin brother. I feel like that's a really weird way, but in my head, that felt like the clearest way to help people identify who he was. And I think it is true.
I'm so lost.
But I think actually AST and Juice on that team, the hitscan player, probably felt like the stars from that one. And then Dreamland with the other team that got through. And honestly, that grand final, incredible. Like, actually, it felt almost impossible Dreamland were going to win, but it was a huge clutch by Pella on ball. Talisman, their Tracer player, did a lot as well. But actually, the clutch from Pella here it goes in 1v2 in a fight and then just kills both of the backline. One shot's for Lucio and then boots for Kiri off the map. And that's the only way they got back in, as we are currently on map 7, third round. So sometimes it can happen. But actually, really great. And they'll be going up against Supernova and Dhillducks, of course. I think probably Supernova the favourites out of nose, but then it probably feels like it's going to be in a real dogfight between the other teams. Unless you ask the Ducks, of course. The Ducks will insist they are going to win. But they've insisted that all season long.
I feel like the Ducks, their time might be numbered at this point. They'd have to be really going off a hope and a prayer to make it work.
So yeah, I don't think too much to add for FACEIT Playoffs. Obviously, all those games happening this upcoming Sunday for promotion relegation, and that'll be the final one for the year as well, set for stage 3.
Yeah, should be Vision and Dip and EU, right? Or what do you guys think?
A what?
I think it will be Vision, and I kind of want it to be Anomaly, but I think it probably should be Dip's team.
Yeah. I think Dip's team was actually like pretty good in regular season at least. I think they got a shot.
I
Should
agree.
win.
It probably gets it means EMEA as well next season. Actually, I think looks really I think you'll still have the top teams and maybe it would still be a big 3 type thing. But actually, all of a sudden, if I'm Peps or something, and now I've got to scrap out in relegation again against Dip's team and now against Team Vision as well, fuck, that's scary in terms of who goes up or down. I don't know exactly how it works at the end of the year. Do we still do promotion relegation for the last stage?
I suspect the rules aren't written.
Probably not.
I'm sure
Burn that bridge when we come to it.
Elsewhere, we'll only do it quickly because I don't think there's too many surprises here. China also had their playoffs. Weibo won, unsurprisingly. Team CC got revenge on OW Esports from the upper bracket semi-final loss or quarterfinal, whichever one it was, won the lower bracket game. I think the big news there is the fact that Hayo Xian, or people might know him more as Super Rich, has done a classic coach move by benching himself from the roster, going to coach. They brought in a guy called Unknown, who actually looks like a really significant upgrade over him. So it's actually main support to coach role, bench yourself and get someone better in, has been a tried and tested path for many coaches, and it seems to be working out for CC here as well. So obviously CC, Rock and Weibo, the top 3 coming out of China, and we'll see them at the Esports World Cup as well. Before we get to the Esports World Cup though, of course we have to have the last chance qualifier. And this is an event that started with a lot of excitement that has maybe tempered. The registration window has closed for this now. So we have what is on paper, I think it's 18 teams that have completed registration. If we can get the image up. So yeah, these are the 18 teams that had completed registration. Obviously, the big swing factor here is you have to pay your own way as well. So lots of the major EMEA and North America teams missing. And I think you guys are probably obviously 2 of you in the position where you would maybe be a team that would in some way be expected to go because of where you're finishing the regular season, but both have opted not to. And I think the general, you guys can maybe speak more to it, but the general consensus is it's not worth the investment with the prize pool and the likelihood of qualification.
Yeah, I mean, I think we didn't want to prolong our suffering
just
by
call it.
scrimming for another 2 weeks to get shit on by fucking proper. So it's okay. Go next, you know.
Any chance Zeta wins?
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Is Dill Donkeys? These guys aren't actually going to go, right?
Yeah, no,
I
no
think
way
they're
they
going.
go.
I dropped a message in their Discord being like, is this real? They were like, yeah. Apparently,
Are you talking about the Dhillducks Discord?
Yeah. I mean, I
Don't
never
play
know
the Dhillducks
You're
how
just
seriously.
a fucking moron taking the bait.
I never know
Shut
how
up.
seriously to take it, right?
Zero.
But is this not like the final? This is the sign off, right? This is like if you're on this list, you're submitting documents and stuff.
I just refuse to believe that that's true. I'm convinced that you're taking some like next level Dhillducks bait. Like I will.
No way they show up. If we
I
get
will be
Dhillducks versus Team
outrageously
Falcons at
surprised
that.
if the Dill Donkeys
All the way to Saudi.
Another team that have also had issues as well. I think is it Cold Metal. I think that is top right. They've also ran into a problem where when they submitted their IDs, it turned out Speed 75. He submitted his passport to get all the visa and stuff sorted, and they responded to him saying, "Hey, this passport has expired." At which point, this was the first he was hearing of it, and now they're in a problem where his passport has expired, and it will need a new one by next week to fly out. So maybe Cold Metal's attendance is either going to be with a different player or maybe fully in peril.
Are they allowed to change their roster at the last minute like that?
No, I don't know. I don't know if they'll make an exception or if they'll just cancel the whole thing basically because they can't go.
I think Mean Machine will throw as much money as is required as to make it to that stage. You know, I think Mean Machine loves to attend a LAN event, so I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way. If there is a pathway for them, wouldn't be surprised if they made it. Maybe they can poach Marjed Season 2 from Team Marjed A or something. You know, I'll figure something out to make it work.
Yeah, I think the only other notable teams, there's obviously Team Vision are going to be there, Violet's team. Hadi on Alua is going to be there as well, with like maybe some more recognizable of Saudi players we've seen from Saudi leagues before. There it is, yeah, like Oi, Escanor, Miraculous, probably all players like on the more familiar side of things. I've talked to F Word, the EMEA team, the European team, and they're locked. They are on their way. Well, not literally, but they will be on their way. So there will be some European representation to fill out the EMEA portion of it as well. But yeah, very much it's Zeta versus Falcons, all the marbles type situation.
Yeah.
You think there's any universe where Vision could win versus Zeta?
I think Vision could maybe beat Zeta, but there's no way
I think they could win a map. I think they could win a map.
Yeah.
No.
Like one.
Common series.
Mate, I swear Vision are the most overrated team in history. Like,
They do look pretty shit, to be honest.
and they lost, there's no way, mate. There's no fucking way.
What's their
Landon, you were saying
LCQ roster?
I don't know. It doesn't matter which fucking version of the roster, mate. There's no way they're competing with the top Korean teams.
They lost to King
Come on.
Crocs, bro. Like, grow
Yeah,
up.
I mean, they
Jesus.
did, but they beat them the day after. They beat them the day after.
True.
Oh, they won the next time around? That's so good for it then, actually. Take it all back.
I mean, they probably lose. There's like a 15% chance they can I think a 50% chance they can beat Zeta. Just a little bit.
Chance. It's like 15% chance to take one map. I'll take that.
Never give this guy a job at the bookies. He's going to bankrupt the bookies.
Yeah,
in a
maybe.
week.
Yeah.
50% chance of a series.
You really?
Go up.
I swear, like Violet's just good, just like good for a map. Is at least
I
good.
mean,
For
That at least that will be quite fun.
Good for a
though,
map
you know?
is okay.
yeah,
I want him to
he'll
talk
get his
shit.
map.
Like match chat on and Violet's talking shit. to his
no way,
teammates,
no
you
way
know?
he's gonna type.
They've got the Google AI translating the Korean shit talk for us as well, so we get the full experience. It's like just yapping in match chat the entire time. They would literally never. It's just not very Korean of them, but it would be a treat.
Who knows? Who knows? If Violet stays in Europe for too long, maybe.
No, you know what would be even better than that, actually? If they played a series and everybody was just like super respectful the whole time and everybody just like got along.
Nice
we
shot,
just got to see like these beautiful firm handshakes at the end of the series. That
was a
probably
good
be,
sleep
like,
dart.
even better now that I think about
As long as there's like a tweet that says GG, it was an honor afterwards, then I'm up for that.
Yeah.
There's some rumors as well. I don't know if you mentioned it. Like that Proper might be back, as in the lineup. I don't know how much
That'd
to
be a good
believe in,
shout.
but it's circulating.
It's on the streets.
It's on the streets, you know. Proper's alluded to, you know, he might be back. which will be good news if you're a Falcons fan, bad news if you are a person named Merit.
Yeah, look, I do feel like getting the proper Stalker lineup it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Ilios is in the map pool for Pete's sake. Like they've got to have proper Stalker. Ilios is in the pool. Like
they did a version of this last year with Happy, and we're just doing another version, And then
Happy, I think made sense not working, but Merit's so good. Like even still, like his fray was crazy too, but they just can't win.
Caddy.
A couple more signings away, honestly. A couple more signings away, and they'll have just about enough. All right, then anything else from the world of actual games of Overwatch here? Covered, I think, all the big regions, promotion, relegation, LCQ on the horizon. Boot camps will be coming up soon for all the teams who were fortunate enough to make it, including the winner of the LCQ. Then the only other major topic I think we had was what is going on in South America. Now, a few people might have seen on Reddit or on Twitter, people posting a link to this document talking about all these accusations towards FACEIT. So FACEIT have also had FACEIT Playoffs in South America. The winner of South American Playoffs goes to the Esports World Cup itself. So there's actually a decent amount on the line if you can win that region. And it seems there has been some foul play according to group. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, Senju. But if you've seen it before, they're like a tournament organizer in South America. But they released this document. I think we have the document here, hopefully. And this document was 44 pages, which meant immediately nobody read it because that's too many pages for anyone to look through.
It is.
So I did what might be the unthinkable. I read the document.
And it's been taken down.
Been removed. Surely. Hold on. Can you rely on Reddit again? Okay, so the accusations, there's basically 2 pages of accusations and then 42 pages of evidence. So the accusations are pretty severe. They've accused the team in question, who went through a few different names, but ultimately, I guess, settled on leaders when they actually won playoffs. Now, they made too many roster changes. They broke the number of roster change rules. They're breaking the imports rules. There's too many players not from South America. Some of the rosters happened after the roster deadline day as well. Accusations that they actually bought the spot from the team that had it before and then basically replaced the entire roster so they could skip a step in terms of qualification. So huge numbers of accusations. They also accused them of being boosters, and they also accused the admins of collusion in the
everything in there.
Yeah, just toss it all in. Just toss it all in.
Yeah. The accusations were wide and spread out here in terms of everything they were willing to accuse them of. So the first couple of pages start with all the accusations, and it seems it's a little bit confusing how they've written it all. There seem to be some things where they are like, the admins are working with the team to fix the whole thing. And then in like the next paragraph, it will say, well, we think it's probably just more incompetence or negligence than anything else. So seems to be a bit wavy in terms of how severe the accusations are. There's one bit where there's a couple of admins they mentioned by name, Kopit and Zwinek, I think that is. They also say, there's a bit right at the top where he goes, Kopit, allegedly a FACEIT League manager. I'll be the one to go on record for this. I can confirm he is a manager at the FACEIT League. So first piece of information confirmed. He is indeed a real FACEIT League manager. And that bit's locked in. So I took the time to read this document, and we'll go through it sort of point by point here, because I feel like what normally happens when you release like an accusory document is you then prove all your accusations with your 42 pages of evidence. However, when I read the evidence, I ended up on the FACEIT admin side, and let me tell you why. So this document, I believe, was prepared by William Mundy, who is a lawyer in South America. If you remember the intro, this is the lawyer we were talking about at the start, so it's all come full circle. So he's a lawyer in South America, and I think because of his, I guess, competence in English, he's very much sort of acts as a bit of a go-between between FACEIT and all the South American teams as one of the organisers. So I think that's his role, but I'm not exactly sure. But either way, he's some type of lawyer. So the first one is they made too many roster changes. And it is true that they have changed basically all the players that were on the team last season to this season, which does seem like too many. But the FACEIT League in South America has some very confusing rules. You can make 3 roster changes between seasons as long as you keep a core 3, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. Same rules in EMEA North America. But then, once Season 5 starts, you're allowed to make 3 more roster changes. Which means, if you do the math, you just replace your entire roster after a week. Which is what this team in question did. So, while it certainly seems like this is a stupid fucking rule, what's the point of a roster lock if you can change all of your players a week later anyway? But the rule is the rule, right? The problem is not with the enforcement of the rule necessarily, but the problem is with the rule itself here. So, and I think Copper explains this on page 31, where again, like, because I want to point out again, all the information I've got to disprove these points comes from this document they submitted as evidence, which is the most confusing bit. So Copper explains the rules, and I will give them, like, it's a stupid fucking rule, right? But it is the rule, no foul play has happened. The second bit was that they are breaking the import rules. So this was that 2 players were in fact not from the region they said they were. So if you go to, this is pages 25, 26, and 27. Starting to feel like a bit of a lawyer myself with this one. Take me to exhibit.
Fall asleep, man.
Yeah.
Why don't they even have a slot?
So
give us like the TU or SSG. Let's go.
So basically, it should be different ones than this. It should just be short messages. Hold on. Have you got it, Alpha? I'll trust him. He'll find it. But basically, they ask them, can you prove that your players are from these areas? And they say yes. I think it was still Kiwi and bad player in question. They currently live in the US. They're playing from there at least, but they do have heritage and the relative citizenship documents, which they sent to FACEIT. So immediately, that point just seems to fall, it doesn't count. Then accusations that they bought the spot, that there was some kind of collusion, that they bought the spot from an already qualified team. In the evidence, the lawyer and group sends you concede that they don't have enough evidence to provide FACEIT to prove this. They just suspect it has happened. So even within their own evidence, they've conceded that one. Then some of the roster changes happened after deadline. Now, this is true. They submitted one of their roster changes 32 minutes after the deadline, and the admins chose to make an exception. But also, the roster deadline is 2 weeks before the start of the season, so there's a large amount of time, and they also made this exception for loads of teams in similar situations. So, again, that one doesn't seem to hold any water. Then, there are all the accusation on pages 3 to 10 of them boosting. And to be fair, it does look like the guy Canny is in these boosting servers. But of all the accusations, I feel like if you're in one of the lowly funded regions, like South America, Australia, parts of Pacific, I imagine 90% of the players probably boost in some form at one point or another. Because how else are you going to make money to try and sustain this type of hobby without it? So I think, to be fair, there's probably some legs to the boosting one. But when I was reading through it, the chronology of how it happened was basically, yeah, they broke the fucking import rules. And go, oh, they didn't actually. Oh, okay. Then they'd go away and come back 2 days later with yeah, they fucking broke the roster deadline. They were too late. And it felt like they were just kept coming back at them, So could I believe that something dodgy has happened in one of the lowly funded areas of Overwatch Esports? 100%. But this document doesn't really prove it. If anything, this document proves that the FACEIT admins kind of tried to be quite accommodating, followed the rules that they laid out. There's maybe some dumb rules in there. But yeah. So, not convinced at all by this from South America. Again, there might be something there that, they just don't quite have the evidence to prove. But this document doesn't prove anything. But when I was reading the Reddit threads, lots of people just immediately on the bandwagon, of something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And I don't think anyone actually read the document.
I mean, no one's going to read 4 pages.
Exactly. So I read, obviously, some of it, full disclosure, some of it was in Portuguese. I didn't read those bits because I don't speak Portuguese. So maybe all the compelling evidence was in Portuguese and I've missed it all. But yeah, not convinced at all by this document that actually proves what they wanted to prove. So if you need a lawyer, don't hire William Mundy, hire me. I'll take the case.
It just feels so poorly formatted overall. Like the opening format looks really good, right? Where it's like, it has a nice little summary at the head.
Yeah.
But then the whole 44 pages of like poorly organized evidence just kind of leans it towards being incredibly difficult to actually interpret and read.
Yeah,
But
like
maybe
I will
could've done a bit better
concede.
there, eh?
Is like super possible, and that's something dodgy has happened, right? Like it is, again, like once you get to this level of esports when there's not a lot of money going around, dodgy stuff happens all the time, right? So did they buy the spot? It's not impossible, right? It's a believable scenario to happen. With the esports World Cup as like the golden apple to motivate it, sure, but not overly convinced they've actually backed up any of their claims here.
Yeah, I just mean even the fact that we've managed to get a 44-page document out because they don't know how to crop 30% of the page out. Like there's pictures of their Google Chrome where I can see their taskbar. Like, grow up. That's
He's a professional lawyer, man.
Yeah, these last couple of ones were just like a tweet about something completely unrelated.
It would be so good if there was like something
who are their
bad or
recommended
something
followers?
dodgy.
Who are their recommended followers on Twitter? Let's have a look.
I'm never sure.
What was trending in Portuguese?
What was
news on
trending at the
particular
time?
day? Like, yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it's a lot of it appears to be in Portuguese. Shocking. So yeah, looked into it. They tagged ESIC as well, which is always a classic. I imagine ESIC gets tagged in almost exclusively bullshit nowadays, as opposed to real investigations. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to come of this. I think should FACEIT change the rules so you can't. There's no point of a roster lock if you can change 3 players every bloody week afterwards anyway. There's no fucking point of a roster lock. So they should change that rule. That's a reasonable complaint, but I don't think any foul play has been evidenced in this document. So as for South America recap, which means we have actually had probably one of our most global episodes ever in terms of breadth of countries, depth to tier 2. We've actually covered it all, which I think leaves us only one destination, which is Client of the Week. So this is probably the halfway point of the podcast if anyone needs to grab a drink or a toilet or anything. And we've got another...
Strap in.
Can I do mine first?
So. Yeah, you go.
I feel like mine are the simplest. So the first one is Commander 29. Yeah. So this is a guy pretending to be me on Discord. He's got
I'm a streamer with good
familiar looking name. He's got my logo that he's stolen, and he's got a pretty convincing description. I think we can all agree that would trick people. I'm a streamer with good vibes and building awesome community. Something I do all the time. Join
you
fun.
Spread hate, mate. That's what you do.
No, I build good vibes and awesome community. Maybe this is how you would do it was a scam because there's no hate. But join the fun for chill stream, laugh, and behind the scenes moment. Let level up together. CommanderX on Twitch TV.
Yeah, let level up together, guys.
Yep.
So yeah, if you get a message from this CommanderX and he's sort of talking to you about like Twitch overlays and where you should get them or not, he's just trying to trick you into buying his own products. It's not me asking about your Twitch overlays. So this one goes up there because I added this guy afterwards, right? I asked him, what's going on, mate? How come you're impersonating me? He accepted the friend request, didn't respond, went offline, changed his profile picture to another like random YouTuber or Twitch one. And then he just keeps changing it back and forth now between me and a guy called Delivered, who I believe if you look up Delivered on YouTube, he does a lot of like live car negotiations, So me and Delivered are already getting targeted a lot here. So don't fall for either scam. That was the first one. The other one actually brings us back to the lawyer and the South American case. So this was posted on Reddit. And then Bryce comes in pretty hot about his interpretation of all these violations in South America. And I told you some people probably didn't read the document. Bryce barely even read the thread. If I'm interpreting this right, a team full swap roster and their slot in FACEIT Masters SA, with support from or negligence of FACEIT in order to prevent SA teams losing their spot. This seems insanely plausible given FACEIT's terrible history of unequal rule enforcement and seeming preference to Saudi orgs and players. Just go back and to look at what happened with Psycho on TM or Genji.
What?
Well, they saw in the title SA, and they thought SA stood for Saudi Arabia. But because, you know, people on Reddit are so addicted to just writing comments and having their voice heard, no matter how uninformed, they didn't even bother to open the massive document that is all written in Portuguese about South American contenders. And they just went straight into writing about biases against the Saudi Arabian Overwatch scene.
It's still got 20 upvotes.
It's the top comment.
It was on more. It was on 35. Like, it took until I started mentioning it on like stream and stuff. It was on like plus 35. So loads of people, because this is the giveaway. Because people will say about Reddit sometimes, say, hey, look, you roast Redditors, but that's not all of us. That's just one person. There's just one idiot, right? There's always an idiot in a room or something like this. But I was like, Reddit is actually a consensus machine. And then what happens is if it's voted up to the top, that's the consensus of the community. It's not one person. It's the most popular opinion. So, yeah. I think Oni-chan got it right, saying, I appreciate your passion for writing. I just wish you were just as passionate with reading.
Good shout.
Good shout.
But yeah, cheers for that one, Bryce. Good. Clear that you don't have any agenda coming in. You've just taken this, you know, and really looked into the facts and details of the case. So don't hire William Mundy. Definitely don't hire Bryce. Hire me as your lawyer.
Real.
Have we got?
Well, like, you got one,
more?
Max. You got your mate?
Huh?
For Client of the Week?
I know we're doing that segment. I don't know who I'm nominating.
You don't, the one that calls you racist?
Oh yeah, I saw his interaction actually.
Yeah, I thought for sure you must know them. Dolly.
Oh, of course, fucking Dorito, whatever. Yeah.
40-year-old man bullying the poor 17-year-old.
The 40-year-old man bullying the child because, you know, if you go back far enough, then he was a kid and I was a kid too, I suppose. But yeah. That was pretty good, actually. Do you have a link to that, Alpha? Because it's all deleted now, so I don't really know. Yeah, he deleted it because obviously people with no fiber or moral backbone will talk their shit, and then if they ever feel any sort of blowback whatsoever, they'll instantly delete all of their opinions. But yeah, I have a bookmark on my stream where it's the clip of Runaway losing to Atlanta Academy at the Gauntlet. And I remember that being such an incredibly iconic game because everybody was saying that Runaway was going to decimate everybody. And everybody was saying that Korea was so far ahead of America and it wasn't possible for a North American team to win. And then Atlanta Academy went to that tournament fucking just slinging dick. And they just absolutely destroyed Runaway, and all the fans in the crowd were sobbing. Like Runaway was like the favorite team, like the fan favorite. Everybody had their hearts. I have a Runaway jumper.
Really?
In my mother's home. Yes, yeah, it's the great.
Soaked in Mag's tears.
Soaked in Mag's tears. Everybody loved Runaway, but Atlanta Academy went to the tournament. And they pumped Runaway so hard. And there's just this fantastic clip in the dugout of Atlanta, like so smugly, like dapping each other up in the dugout. And then the camera pans to Runaway and they're all head in their hands. Yaki, stun mullet, Mag, ball in his eyes out. Like it's just a fantastic moment for the sport. Really, it is. It's so great. And I went through that clip and I was just laughing my head off watching the clip because it's like, all the guys in the Atlanta booth are my friends, my former players. All the guys in the Runaway booth are like, you know, it's like your Yakis and your Mags. It's all the people that I'm just fucking perma saying like this guy's overrated, this guy's shit. So it's a real vindicating clip from God knows how long ago. And Dorotoro says this guy's 30 years, tweets about me with a clip of that saying this guy's 30 years old making fun of a 17-year-old kid. And it's like, come on, man. Like, yeah, Mag was 17 or 18 in the clip, you know, maybe closing in on 18. It's like at the time I must have been 21, right? Like everybody was young at the time of the clip, you know, like I feel like I'm more laughing at Mag, you know, the progression that has continued to the point that now he's a grown ass man. But, you know, I replied basically saying everybody in the Atlanta booth, these are my close friends, you know, these are people that I've been friends with for years and I've been on teams with for years. And this is a really iconic win. Like, this is more than just bullying a 17-year-old child who is now a 22-year-old grown-ass man, mind you. Instantly, this guy replies, you just like picking on Koreans because you're racist. It's like, okay, all right, hands up. You know, you've got me. You've got me dead to rights. You've caught me. Like, I will never talk shit about a player that isn't Korean. This is obvious, you know. As Lep a week ago is adding our podcast because I'm shitting on him and saying that he and Luke Minnow are the weak link on their team. Theomatic, who has basically retired off the back of a thumbnail of me saying that he's so bad at Winston, and then comes up to me in Stockholm with a smile to say how fucking funny it was, mind you. But apparently, all I do is pick on the Koreans. 80% of my stream is watching the Korean stream and fucking glazing half of the guys in the teams, going absolutely ballistic. But I mean, this person, the reason that this person obviously hates me so much, apart from the fact that they're a Mag fan, clearly, they had hashtag Zeta win in their Twitter bio. So you can see where the agenda really comes from, because I'm always shitting on the Zeta players. I'm always shitting on Finn or something like that. So it all evens out in the wash. But, you know, the second I say something negative about somebody that they like, well, first I'm bullying children who happen to be 22 years old, and then I'm a racist when that doesn't work. And then failing both of those things, they will just delete all of their tweets and pretend that they never said it. Like, such a fucking joke. Like, at least have a backbone. At least stand by what you think if you think it, you know? Like,
real.
Any more for
Landon,
any more? I guess we've...
go
on.
You got any nominations, Landon?
Yeah, the
You've been a
admin.
client in the past week?
The admin making me leave the map. I was...
Yeah.
Landon's admin.
Like, dude, imagine telling a player in a grand finals that their only ult needs to manually go and close their game and then reopen it. Like, whatever.
Shouldn't have
Just
picked
twisted
Perk.
minds paying off the admins, I think.
Excited to see your 44-page document evidencing these claims.
I'll start working on it.
Admin
I'll write
collusion.
it on Portuguese too.
We mentioned it earlier as well, but probably Lep comes in there for saying stop player hate, followed by a swift tweet about Kellen.
Immediately hating the player. I mean, it was Korean, so I don't know why Lep only just bullies Korean players. You know, it's so fucked up, Lep. Yeah, I don't know. Give it to fucking. Give it to Doro Boro.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think there's nothing. It's always when they delete the tweet at the end that always gets me. Now, they then just realise they're not as right as they once thought they were, and now they're just getting clowned on. And now it's a classic case of not being able to take the heat, but mistakenly stepping into the kitchen.
It's just like when you're so hungry for the dopamine, you know, like you tweet something inflammatory about somebody else because you're so fucking hungry for the dopamine that you're going to get from it. But you can't possibly comprehend that person will see your tweet and then come into your replies and tell you to go fuck yourself, you know? And then after it all, they delete their tweets, probably because they're getting some sort of a negative reception, because immediately everybody, you know, like I got linked the tweet on stream and I replied to it on stream. So obviously they're going to get fucking bombarded by shit immediately after. But it's like, you know, their tweet was doing all right. They could have kept it up, but they delete it. There's no apology. There's no recognition of anything about it. They just want to move on from it. You know, they want to sling their shit. And then as soon as they realize that somebody slings anything back, they're just going to try and disappear and hope everybody forgets about it. Another thing that I didn't even mention, this person's already won client of the week, but in their response, when they called me a racist for picking on Koreans, because apparently, yeah, if you say something negative about a Korean player, you must be racist. Apart from the fact that I am on a team with 2 Korean players that seem more or less happy to be on a team.
You signed those players as well, right? I did choose to. That's actually the part of the team that I did have the strongest choosing in, as a Korean players on it. But apart from the fact that I've got Korean players on my team, this person said, I'm just a casual fan and I don't really care that much. That was like how they prefaced it. I'm just a casual fan. I don't really care that much. You're just a racist. If you look at this person's Twitter, they are the exact opposite of a casual fan. They co-stream the minor regions of OWCS. Like, they co-stream
only the
China and Pacific. Yeah, obviously that. But yeah, they co-stream the minor regions of Overwatch. They spend heaps of time. They have a team for Overwatch, which sounds incredibly casual if you ask me. And they have a fucking tweet where they're asking for a derogatory phrase that they can use to describe Westerners. Like, they are searching for a slur to use to direct at Westerners. Like, Is that a derogatory term for Westerners? Because I've been seeing some crazy flora disrespect from random NA/EU people recently. And that's exactly right. Because if somebody doesn't agree with you, then you should be racist towards their group. That's the takeaway there, is basically.
Whilst also, for what it's worth, this person is a white American. You wouldn't think so because of all the Korean they have on their Twitter, because that's normal. That's just a sign of like really solid. Yeah, that's a solid personality trait. This person's also fucking white American, but as they say in Korea, as Dara Bora knows, Gabby.
That is just a Gabby situation, I'm afraid.
All right, lock it up.
Perfect. Locking
What
it
a
up.
day.
Thank you for coming on, Landon.
Cheers,
Yeah,
Landon.
thanks for having me.
Hey everyone, a quick extra message to especially thank Red Eyes for being our biggest supporter on Patreon. We greatly appreciate all of our Patreon supporters, but Red Eyes is the biggest and the best of the bunch. So thank you very much, Red Eyes. And just to be clear, this is being recorded separately, not because we totally forgot, because we thought it would be better to do an extra special effort where I record it individually slightly after the actual episode. This isn't a cope section, this is a thank you section. Thank you, Red Eyes. Hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next time.